Greetings, pro wrestling fans, and thank you for joining us at the Pro Wrestling LookBack Podcast. I'm Nick, and I'm sitting here with
Will
and Honda Tech Phil.
Well, I'm happy to have you guys back. This is it's kind of like an alternating week thing between Donovan and you guys, and I enjoy it. But I'm shocked by the just.
He's out for injury.
Oh,
he's
okay.
an
Are
injury.
you the fill-in for the Cecil and what was the name when you were here 2 weeks ago? I can't remember.
The Maestro of Malice.
The Maestro of Malice. Yeah, if anybody who hasn't listened to episode 61, go check it out. But this is episode 63 of the Pro Wrestling LookBack Roundtable. If you don't already, go give us a follow on Instagram and Twitter at PW LookBack. Hit the like, subscribe, share button on there. We'd appreciate it. Send us a DM, PM, comments, anything in the messages there on Instagram, or send us an email, prowrestlinglookback@gmail.com. All that can be sent to us for topics, questions, comments, ideas,
concerns,
anything. Let us know. That's where you get in contact with us. We appreciate it. Check us out on iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, YouTube, and Google Play. Hit subscribe, hit the 5 stars, leave a comment, preferably a good one, but like I always say, if not, I want to know what you think of the show, so feel free to leave a bad one too. If you want, follow me on Instagram at Salsa, SCELSA.
At Twitter at Lateral G.
At Twitter.
on Twitter at Honda Tech Phil.
There you go. That's everyone.
Gotta one-up me.
Grammar correction.
If you want to give Donovan a follow, his is at The Dawn Hour, and like I always say, the main one is at PW LookBack. And as well, don't forget to check out the sponsor guys at Pure Oxide CBD Oils. They've got a different affiliate accounts on Instagram you can check out on there, but the main stuff is pureoxide.com. They ship worldwide. No GMOs, no THC. Lab tested, 2,500 milligram bottle, 5,000 milligram bottle, 3,000 milligram cream. The owner of the company is at Justin.Brothers on Instagram. Get in contact with him. He can kind of find out the right product for you. And like I always say, I've been using it for months. It's really good for kind of mental clarity and anxiety, as well as joint pain and overall well-being. Hundreds of positive reviews and feedback at Pure Oxide CBD and pureoxide.com. But that's it. I'm going to take a drink. How are you guys doing?
Oh, I'm doing, working, all this good stuff.
The same old.
Same old.
Lots of good wrestling and racing this week.
Yeah.
Topics for this show.
Yeah. Good, interesting. It's going to be pretty busy. You wouldn't think that end of November would be that busy, but, it is.
You wouldn't think that, leading into maybe, in my opinion, one of the most boring pay-per-views of the year, we would have as much news as we do in wrestling. And then, in F1 later in the show, we'll talk about it with Lewis winning the championship. I don't know if any of us expected to have maybe the most exciting race of the year be, the race post-championship being over. So we'll get to that later. But I don't know. What about you, Phil? How's your life in the last 2 weeks since the last time we've had you on the show?
Oh, like Will said, I'm doing it every day and just working. But yeah, it's a hard life as a mechanic.
Well, you were out there today, yesterday, fucking big tranny swap. That was like a full day's job.
In and out, 6 hours.
There you go.
Let's
Clean
go.
It up.
Let's go.
Pay me later.
Pay me now, pay me later.
Yeah. But I guess we'll get to some of the wrestling stuff. I want one other quick thing, just because I mentioned it last week with the Disney Plus and everything coming out. Again, if anybody is a Star Wars fan and they have not gone to watch that Mandalore TV show, go check it out. I'm pointing at you, Will, and Phil. I know you're making the time, but yeah, for any of the listeners, I don't know. I'm just a massive fan, and I'm always going to bring it up on the show.
Nerd.
Big time. But yeah, the movie's coming out soon, so you wait for the shows leading into the movie. I'll be talking lots about it. But yeah, a really good show on there. And if anybody too, I guess same Star Wars stuff, go check out Rebels. Star Wars Rebels is debatably, in my opinion, one of the greatest animated television shows of the last 10 to 15 years.
Have you played the new game they have out, the new Star Wars Fallen Order? Or what was it? That's the new one?
I'm happy that you brought that up. Yes, I picked it up on Friday. It's a really...
midnight release? Did you go for midnight release?
No, I didn't. I picked
okay.
it up after work on my way home from Friday. I was gonna.
You didn't camp outside the store?
Do they still do that?
I'm sure they do.
I think mainly for console releases, but I don't think too many game releases.
Certain stores now too.
Yeah, I don't think Walmart's gonna be doing that.
No, I remember waiting outside EB Games and picking up. Well, I was there to pick up NHL 15, and I ended up. It was the same night that Destiny dropped, like the original Destiny. And they were making us wait outside. And this was like November or whenever it was. I don't know, NHL, maybe September, I guess. And yeah, I remember buying Destiny. I was in line. I waited 3 hours or something. It was like 1 a.m, and I'm inside EB Games. And I'm like, well, I'm here now. I might as well buy Destiny too, as well.
You're in the line, you hear people talk about Destiny, and people behind Destiny, and I'm like, I'm just here for NHL.
I'm here to pick up NHL 15, which might be one of the worst NHL games ever to be released because it was like the first cross-gen console going on to PS4. So it was really not a good game, and I remember playing a lot more Destiny than I did NHL back then. But anyway, back to the Fallen Order, Star Wars Fallen Order. Jedi Fallen Order, Jesus. I don't think I'm as into video games as I once was. I think that's what it is, because I'm not going to go out on a limb and say that I don't think this is a wicked game with an awesome story and cool mechanics, because it is, but I don't know if it's for me anymore. I think I'm looking for more. I said it to you. I think I'm looking for more of like a Witcher Elder Scrolls Star Wars game instead of like a Tomb Raider Uncharted Star Wars game, because this game is... And this sounds stupid to say for anybody who plays a lot of video games, maybe, but I was playing the game, and there's just moments where I'm like, this is such a video game. Like, there's platformer, little stupid moments where you got to freeze stuff and jump from platformer to platform, and you got to crawl on walls like in Uncharted, and it's like, just so happens that the wall is climby there where I need to grab this. It's just so... Mm-hmm. We'll get to it later with the Survivor Series, but contrived.
I get what you mean, yeah.
It's not that I think it's a bad game. I've been continuing to play it. Like I said to you, Phil, I've been giving it the old college try. I want to at least put the effort in and get through the game. I put it on story mode. There's 4 difficulties, and I put it on the easiest one because, 2 reasons. One, I'm not trying to play Dark Souls while I play Star Wars, and it is based off of the Dark Souls
engine.
Yeah, at least the boss fights, which is cool. I like that. And 2 is, I have a lightsaber. If I swing my lightsaber at some animal that's trying to attack me, I don't want to have to swing 6 times. That lightsaber is going to fucking destroy him in 2 hits if this is real life. So it sounds dumb, but I want it to feel like he's a Jedi. I should be able to slice these motherfuckers up like nothing. So, I don't know. Maybe too much.
Do you think that idea of maybe games not having... I don't know, that kind of pull toward for us that you used to have? Because I feel like I've been the same way recently. Like, I have a very expensive computer that I got to play games, but ever since I got it, I've really only bought, like, there's only been 2 or 3 games that I bought the day they came out because I wanted to play those games. And that was Borderlands 3 and Kingdom Hearts 3, one of which is only on console.
Yeah.
So, any games that I feel myself urged to play are all games I've already played before.
Game styles. You might be able to talk on that, Phil. I mean, we can go on a little bit of a game topic here at the beginning of the show, but for me, I think it's I've played so much of different types of those kind of third-person, open-worldy type games where it's collect-a-thon type thing. It's what I said. I want more of a story. I want Elder Scrolls, and even though I've never played that, I played 400 hours of The Witcher. I want that kind of video game in the sense of Star Wars, at least. I don't know. I find myself doing way more sim racing and playing games like MLB and that kind of stuff, simulation games. Shout out to Jonathan, guy we work with, because he said to me, like, maybe you just like simulation now. Everything you play is a simulation of something. So when you're playing something that's very not simmy, that's maybe why.
I've been playing the new Need for Speed lately because
I saw that. Sorry to cut you off, but I saw you getting trophies on PSN, and I meant to bring that up earlier before we hit record. So. Go.
Yeah, I've been playing that a bit. I've actually been liking it. I didn't expect myself to kind of like be liking it and kind of be thinking about playing it as much as I did. I just kind of got it because I looked interesting. They had the engine swaps this time around.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still not perfect. It's no Forza Horizon, which blows Need for Speed Heat out of the water, but like it's still
Is that the comparison? Game. Is that what you would compare it? Because is that what it's called, the new one?
Need for Speed Heat.
Yeah, okay. NFS?
NFS Heat, yeah.
Okay, that's what, because I saw the picture and stuff on the store, so I was like, oh. That's...
Not for sale?
Yeah. Fuck. But yeah,
threw you through a loop.
quick thoughts, I guess. I gave you mine. What are your thoughts on the that game?
It's pretty good, actually. The story, super short, so it's not going to be a story game like you. It's more, I feel, if it's kind of more focused on the sitting down and kind of doing the grind a little bit.
Okay.
Like, it's like the story only ends halfway, like when you hit level like 30 or whatever.
Oh, wow. And then you can there's still stuff to complete?
It goes up to like level 50 and stuff, so there's still more parts and engines and stuff you can unlock. So it's kind of more of the sit down and play a little bit of it, but I kind of like the RPG almost aspect of it, of kind of level up, and then you unlock this new engine that you can put in your car, or the little parts you can do from doing the heat races, like against the cops, and like
Yeah, because they have the cops are in it, right? That's been a Need for Speed kind of staple with their games, because you don't get any of that in the Horizon games. That's kind of why I'm bringing it up.
I think the big one was Hot Pursuit.
That's
back in the day was.
I was trying to remember the one I played last. That might have been it.
Yeah,
I don't
Hot
even know.
Pursuit, I remember that.
Shout out to Need for Speed Underground and Need for Speed Underground 2, because I'm sure
Don't even get me started with those drag races.
Those are still my
God.
favorite in the series by far, but Heat's not bad. I find myself when I want to just screw around for a bit, just hop on the game, drive around, do some races.
Yeah. I don't know. I agree. I just mean it's cool that there's the option of not only because you being someone like me and Phil who are so into sim racing, it's cool that you because I got to be honest, that's not a game that I would have unless you want to borrow this, Nick, or something like that. I wouldn't have went out and purchased that game. It's Horizon is as far as I go for non-sim type racing. But I keep saying to you that I want. Sometimes I play Horizon just because I want to drive and I don't want to race.
Yeah.
I just feel like driving.
Just grabbing a car and customizing and making it look the way you want it to look.
Yeah, and then literally like the physical act of just using my wheel and pedals and driving around a city, and then forgetting that I got to drive on the opposite side of the road because all these games that they make are driving on the opposite side of the road. But it's I don't know. That was a good little game discussion. Maybe we should integrate that into the show too. I don't know. It's. Well, maybe not with all the me not playing video games.
I will say, though, the one game I am looking forward to now is Cyberpunk.
Oh, same here, and that's one reason and one reason only. That's CD Projekt Red. I can't say it in Polish. That's
CD Projekt Red?
They say it all like different. It's like it's not like when they say
Project.
It. Yeah, it's
Project.
not exactly okay. And even the guy, but even shout out to Shift F1. Even Danny O'Dwyer when he did that documentary. And he was in Poland saying the name. And he kept saying it. And I was like, oh, that's not how I thought it was pronounced. Because he was saying it, I guess, like the proper way.
Yeah, pronunciation, I guess, yeah.
I'm not 100% sure. But I wanted to find, if I could, this thing that you showed me, Phil. And sorry for the listeners that I don't have my little doggle that Phil let me borrow for my new phone. But I want to play a little bit of this clip.
And Fortnite is eSport of the Year, surprising no one. All of that and more on today's Frame Rate Weekly. Welcome to Frame Rate Weekly. I'm Buddy Hutton. It looks like the WWE may be planning an esports league. On November 11th, they filed to trademark WWE SGL and Superstar Gaming League. There have been several times when pro wrestlers have delved into esports to huge fanfare from both gaming and wrestling fans, like the League of Legends WWE versus NXT show match in 2018.
I know that, yeah.
This was some of the best League of Legends that I've seen in a while, honestly.
There have been a lot of athletes from physical sports trying their hand at pro video games, but making an entire esports league is a flying leap. That's a wrestling move, right? I don't know. Esports betting is
Either way, I just thought this would be an interesting topic to bring up between the three of us, especially us being all video game guys and us spending the first 10 minutes of the show talking
I got it, but nice segue, though.
Talking about video games, yeah. Anyway, you go. Yeah.
I was... they didn't what you just played. They didn't say what kind of league it would be for what kind of game. I'm assuming they're WWE simulation game, but that's kind of a stretch.
I hope not, man, because as much as those games are good looking, they're not fantastic games.
They're not even good looking anymore.
That's true. With all the negative shit that came around that game this year, I told you the only reason I wanted to buy it was because Becky was on the cover. But yeah, they're just those games come down to who can hit RT quickest or or R2 if PlayStation, whatever.
When you look at an esports league, every game that they're playing is there's a competitive standpoint to it, an extremely competitive standpoint.
Yeah,
there's
strategy,
there's all that the teamwork and everything, but then there's also the point where we can all play Gran Turismo Sport and have fun, drive around a track and compete against each other for fast laps. But when you take those guys that are actually competing at the world stage, shout out to the Gran Turismo World Finals that are happening this weekend at Monaco.
Yeah, shout out to my boy Greg, 15th in Ontario.
Wow.
Anyway.
But it's like those guys, they can push those cars. It's their job. It is physically their job. That is day in, day out what they do to compete. When you look at guys like in Rainbow Six Siege or Counter-Strike, it is 12 hours a day. They're playing the game, scrimming, and then looking back at what all the things, their demos or the replays of their games, trying to figure out what they did wrong and what they could have done better just to improve.
And they're watching also the opponent's team. So if they know they have a match coming up, they'll watch previous matches from that opponent to see what kind of strategies they do, what kind of executes they do on sites, or how they defend on a site.
And then all that kind of stuff, if they were trying to apply all that to a WWE video game, that doesn't...
Exactly. It doesn't work. If anything, they should be doing more of that League of Legends using WWE. I didn't even know that happened. You knew about that?
The problem with that is that League of Legends, Counter-Strike, Siege, all those big esports games, they already have a bunch of different leagues.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how is WWE going to make an impact on that?
Maybe it's something, and I have no idea because you guys are way more versed in the esports, but maybe it's like WWE wants it for the WWE audience. For the WWE fans can watch the WWE wrestlers and NXT wrestlers.
So is that supposed to be a thing that they are on the network then? Because if you're buying the network for Raw and SmackDown, you're not going to buy it.
Well, you're not buying the Raw
for League of Legends, but you can go on Twitch and watch it for free.
No, exactly. But just to clarify, you're not buying the network for Raw and SmackDown either, because Raw and SmackDown are not on the network. If they were, I would cancel my cable subscription yesterday.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like I told you at work, same with that Bell app on my phone. If I could watch wrestling and F1, then I would not need cable. I could watch it all on my phone and stream it. But anyway, that's the only thing I could think of, because I don't think they're going to, what does that mean? A WWE Esports league where kids represent certain wrestlers, and they pick that wrestler every time?
I can only see this as it might be a business venture they might go into in the future, and they're just kind of trademarking the name.
Yeah.
Because that's all that was just them saying, hey, we've trademarked this thing. I get esports are kind of the in thing right now, but if you look at the statistics and where esports is kind of going, there's a lot of money coming in, but not too much money coming out. So there might be an esports quote-unquote crash in the next potential years. Because
of what you just said, the amount of money going in and not necessarily... Is there not a lot of ad revenue being generated from esports?
There's a lot of ad revenue, but it's when you have, for example, let's take the Call of Duty E-League. Just to get a franchise spot for a team to say, I want to enter your league, it's $10 million.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. We got time here. This is the round table. Explain that to me, a little. Dumb it down.
COD League has a franchise team.
So the company that makes Call of Duty, the Call of Duty brand.
Yes.
They have a league that's the official Call of Duty esports league.
Yes.
So let's say the three of us, and how many people are on a team? 5?
I would say 5 or 4.
5, 6. I don't know.
Okay, let's say it's 5. Let's say it's the Pro Wrestling. Okay, let's say it's the Pro Wrestling LookBack team. We want to enter that league. It costs us $10 million to enter? Is that...
No.
Okay, that's why I'm just trying to clarify what you mean.
Well, it's... Okay, they obviously have feeder leagues. Like when we have karting, you have Arrive and Drive, then you have club and stuff. So if COD E-League is their F1...
Okay.
And then, obviously there's all small feeder tournaments and stuff on the side that we as a Pro Wrestling LookBack team could enter.
Got you, which makes sense because we're not going to enter F1 if it's right away.
It'd be like a closed qualifier, open qualifier
the
to
point
get up to it.
Of the franchise teams is like with the MLB or the NHL, where it's like Toronto, whatever.
Got you.
Or Baltimore, whatever.
Yep.
So if a team, like popular esports teams like Team Liquid, 100 Thieves, or Cloud9, Navi, whatever, like popular esports teams that have teams across a bunch of different games and stuff, if they wanted to enter, they would have to pay $10 million to enter their COD team and get a franchise name.
Oh, wow.
Which is actually a pretty big downside when you consider last year's COD champions, 100 Thieves, aren't even able to enter the championship this year because that $10 million fee, they can't afford it.
And they won last year.
Yeah.
So what do you get for winning?
$1 million, maybe?
You get money, but not enough to cover that kind of entry fee.
You got to think about it. They got to split it across all the players, and usually there's a coach, and not to mention that the organization itself is going to take a cut.
Yeah, that makes
that was a big controversy issue.
And for context, 100 Thieves is co-owned by Drake.
Yeah. Okay, that's I don't know. Anyway, because you said something that kind of made me, and I want to keep talking about the esports stuff for a second. There's teams that have teams across, like Team Liquid, let's say. I don't know if they do, but is there a Team Liquid in Counter-Strike and there's a Team Liquid in COD?
League of Legends, COD,
really?
Rainbow Six. Yeah, man.
See, I didn't know that's how it worked. I thought Team Liquid was Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
And then I know, isn't there things now where like Toronto has an esports team?
That's mainly Overwatch.
College,
that's mainly Overwatch, which is similar to what COD is doing. It's franchise leagues.
Gotcha.
Fuck Overwatch. I mean,
yeah, I've honestly never played Overwatch once.
Fuck Blizzard. Overwatch is okay.
Actually, you're right.
That might know.
Even though I just bought Call of Duty, but we're not going to mention it.
Wait, they make COD?
They're owned by Activision.
Yeah, they're
owned by
Activision.
Because they're known for Warcraft.
Yeah,
that's what they're known for.
Warcraft, StarCraft, Diablo.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Diablo's wicked though. I would play that game.
All that kind of stuff. Okay, I guess unless you guys had anything else to say, I wanted to transition a little bit into wrestling and some of the negative to some people, definitely myself and most people, but some of the news that happened today in wrestling with Jim Cornette.
I mean, let's go into it. We're called the Pro Wrestling LookBack.
We are, yeah, but this is the round table, and we kind of get into everything, and, we hope the listeners enjoy. But did you hear what happened with Mr. Jim Cornette?
It's not the first time he's done something like this.
No, I want to play the clip if that's okay.
You shouldn't.
Why?
It'd be. I mean, it'd be best to do an air quotes of it, but I don't know.
You really don't like him, do you?
Cornette, I don't like him, no, but I don't know if you should necessarily play the clip.
I'm gonna play the clip anyway.
Okay.
I'm fine with it. We at the Pro Wrestling LookBack do not represent the thoughts of Jim Cornette in the next
at least you put in the disclaimer
clip that I'm going to be playing. And I also wanted to shout out the 20x20 podcast, because those are guys that we connect with in New York that we've talked to and connected with over the last year and a half since we've been doing the show, or 2 years. And we still want to set something up with them in the future. But they're the ones that posted it on their Instagram, and I don't know. I just figure it's kind of one of those things,
As he might should. Trevor Murdoch, he's mad, bad, and dangerous to know. He's the only man I've ever known that can strap a bucket of fried chicken on his back and ride a motor scooter across Ethiopia.
Okay. So yeah, I had to let it play just for any listeners that we do have, because I know there may be people that listen to the show that aren't as connected with wrestling as we get into other stuff here and there. So yeah, that's not something that you want to say in today's day and age, let alone any day and age. Nor is it even that funny. Like, it's not, even if it wasn't, like, if that was okay to say, it's not even that funny. It's not even that, like, oh, yeah. Like,
I mean,
I don't even
if he was to say something other than fried chicken, it's still, I don't know.
Well, that's what I mean.
If it would be okay.
It's not okay. And even if it was, like I'm saying, it's not even a good joke. So
yeah,
I can understand why everybody is so up in arms. And, I think, did he resign or he got fired?
No, he resigned.
I would imagine that means he got fired.
Yeah.
They were nice enough to kind of
let him go.
Yeah, I'm sure they were nice enough to say, okay, we'll put that you got resigned in the disc or the whatever, the post.
Hired for 2 days and then he's gone.
Is that it?
That's what I saw somewhere, that he was 2 days and then he's gone. I have no clue if that's accurate or not. I'll say.
Well, no, and I don't know either, and it doesn't matter. We're just an opinion-based show here anyway. This isn't the PW Torch. Go listen to Wade Keller, my boy, if you want to get the real,
the facts.
Yeah, well, we have some facts, but I just mean more like, hard breaking news. We're not breaking any news on the look back here, but yeah, not something you should be saying. But the question I had for you is I was under the impression that he had been with this Power or double triple R at the end since the first episode. Is that not the case?
I have no idea.
You're not sure? Okay.
I have never watched the show. All I know is I saw someone say he was hired for 2 days and then he's gone. I have no idea if that person is accurate or they're making a joke or what.
If that person's accurate, I didn't know. But, yeah, I don't know. See ya, Jim. We enjoyed Smoky Mountain Wrestling certainly back in the day.
And it's not the first time he's done something racist like this in the past. In the past, I don't know how long ago, but it was another clip someone had. If he was talking about a guy and he was being a heel somewhere, and he just straight up said the N-word to a guy.
Wow.
And his excuse is that he did it was, I'm in character. I did it because he's angry, and I want to make him angrier because I'm a heel and I'm in character.
Yeah. That doesn't fly. Wade Keller, to bring him up again, I do it every week, but he talked about, I guess, Jim Cornette was taking heat because he was kind of saying that the realest, toughest men are in an NWA, and that, I guess, like that you can understand. You're that's for your character, because he said the same sort of thing. This is just me being a character. I got to put over NWA. I got to put over this new company that I'm in. But when you're crossing lines like that and making comments about fried chicken in Ethiopia, that is not fucking something you should be doing.
There were other things he could have said that I think would have been a lot less questionable.
There's plenty. There's a gazillion things you could say about somebody to be the toughest guy on earth, like in quotations, that isn't that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He can lift up a truck or whatever. Like, you can say a lot of things that isn't what he said. So I don't know. I just, seeing as how it happened today, and we're recording a little bit earlier than normal, and I don't know. I just figured we might as well bring it up and acknowledge at least that firing, I guess. So see ya, Jimmy. Later, buddy. How about CM Punk back on WWE Backstage there? Well, I showed you a little bit, Phil, before we hit record, but what are your thoughts on I haven't seen you since he came back last week and kind of said, like, I'll be back next week. That's it?
Yeah, I mean, it's CM Punk.
Are you a big Punk guy? Like, what's your Punk history?
I don't know. I mean, sure, he can cut a good promo, but he's not the best in the ring. Over time, like, he's not as connected as he even admitted that he wasn't as connected with wrestling as he is now. I mean,
vice versa, you mean?
No.
Oh, like he's more connected now than he was?
No, he's less connected now.
Now, sorry, yeah, so vice versa.
And like sure, he's there. All he's doing is talking about wrestling and on the storylines, but everyone thinks it's going to lead to a return, but his contract is with Fox and not WWE. Like, sure, it's this guy that we loved at one point and is now back. It's kind of like Hulk Hogan coming back before he did the other his stuff.
Yeah,
but
that's a good comparison.
I mean, it's,
with the negative press.
It's cool that it's a face talking that we like in wrestling, talking about wrestling. It's cool, kind of like Stone Cold doing his podcast, but
which is going to be amazing this weekend. That Stone Cold Undertaker's right after Survivor Series. It's going to be nuts. But anyway,
but I mean, it's cool that he's there, but that's about it. I mean,
so you don't think he's coming back?
It's not going to like. The glass isn't going to shatter, so to speak.
No pun intended. I'm more curious, not if he thinks he's going to come back. I want to know, do you want him to come back? Like,
no,
in your mind, do you want CM Punk winning the Rumble?
No, at this point, like, he's been out, how long now? Over 5 years?
Yeah, 2014, I think, is when he left.
I mean, sure, he's been doing MMA, so there was more, like, realistic fighting that's in his arsenal. But like the ring rust is going to be there. We know that. Like the current,
he's not going to have the lungs.
Yeah, the current crop of wrestlers he's never really fought before, even on the indies. So there's going to be that learning curve. And even if he was to come back, he's that guy that's returning after 5 years when he had this up and coming crop of new coming talent.
And he's 41.
He's 41, and you're going to have Punk go over someone like Ali, who's a rising star.
That's where I get into the weeds with it. Is it? Yes, I want him to come back. But do I want him to come back, win the Rumble, and main event WrestleMania? Fuck no. Like, come on. We've had guys here busting their ass for the last 5 years. Let's give some of them an opportunity, like a Drew McIntyre or somebody like that, who can win a Rumble and get a spot in a WrestleMania main event. I know
he'd be great for a nostalgia match, like him versus Ray. I'm sure would be a fantastic match at WrestleMania. Sure, but I mean, feeding him to younger, upcoming talent.
But even somebody like Seth, and I don't want to go there because I know Seth was tweeting at him, fight me and stuff, but even somebody like Seth, like in that sort of position.
An established star.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, sure.
That would be fine, too. I just don't necessarily think this guy needs to be main eventing winning championships now at this point.
He's twilight years.
Yeah.
So you think his flame is kind of burnt out at that point?
Yeah.
And with all these rising younger guys, he's going to kind of get pushed out, you think?
I don't think he'd get pushed out. It's the fact that he'd come back and his star would burn brighter than everyone else's stars.
Do we think that the fans are going to force their like WWE's hand a little bit?
Some people are probably going to try to force their hands. I don't like, if I was to go watch SmackDown this Friday, I'm sure there'd be CM Punk, but I mean,
yeah, well, they posted a lot of
how much is that really going to do? How much
kind of videos about. Here it is. I'm going to pull up one of them in a second if I can. I don't know. I can't find it, but they posted a lot of videos of fan reactions. Like people reacting to that first, because he came out last week on the WWE Backstage show, which I've never watched, but it looks decent. And everybody was really excited. And then they showed all these reactions. One guy's like, "Oh, I literally shed a tear. I was crying." All this stuff. So fans care. It's a big deal to other people out there, you know what I mean, that aren't myself and Will, you know what I mean? Donovan is one of them. I would imagine Younger, shout out to Younger, wherever you're at. He's probably happy as fuck. Mike D, too, shout out to him. There's people that probably love this. I just, maybe me and you, and you can decide in the future, Phil, as the more wrestling you watch.
I mean, like I said, it's great that he's back doing something, talking about wrestling once again after he says he's been out of it for so long.
And I didn't think he would ever be doing something like this, to be completely honest with you. I said it last week on the show. I didn't think that we'd ever be talking about CM Punk again in a WWE ring on the Pro Wrestling LookBack. So, yeah, I guess it's a wait and see. I don't want to sound too cliche, but it's kind of that wait and see. And I feel like it has to lead to an in-ring comeback. Like, they can't just be this. Maybe he's playing the cards. Like, he made a comment, and I don't want to find it because shout out to Wrestling Classic on Instagram, but he posted like a 10 different slide video so you could slide through it. And Punk was just saying, you know, he understands how old he is, that sometimes you can't say no to certain things. So maybe, you know, he's kind of laying the seeds. And then at the end, I don't remember who the fuck he was cutting a promo on, but some guy that married like Roseanne Barr or something. I have no idea. So he was cutting a promo on that guy, and then he's kind of made a little slip at the end, and he's like, "Yeah, Seth," and he's like, "I mean," and he said that guy's name.
Oh.
So I don't know if that was like planned or if it was actual like a little slip, but I don't know. It should be good. I've definitely said some things about Punk on this show in the past that maybe I'm not proud of. I don't know, but I know he wouldn't be. So I just mean I don't want to make it seem like I'm a Punk hater because I'm not. I'm just not somebody who was willing to get behind a guy that didn't want to be there. Mm-hmm. You know, my mentality when I would go to a wrestling show and I'd hear guys behind me chanting CM Punk, I'm like, bro, he doesn't even want to be here. Why are you chanting his name? So that's where I come from. But again, wait and see and go from there.
So you said he has a contract with Fox.
Yes.
What is that pertaining to? Is he allowed to wrestle, or
we don't know the intricacies?
Yeah,
all we know is it's with Fox and not WWE.
Yeah,
so what if that kind of?
There could be things in it. We know that he was hired based on the blessing of WWE,
mm-hmm.
but we don't know what the contract specifically says. Whether he allows him to have a match or two or not, we don't know.
And if he is allowed to have a match, would he only be wrestling in Raw or SmackDown?
I would imagine.
Or would it be in a main event kind of
it
situation?
Would be bigger.
Pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Pay-per-views?
I would imagine if it was a CM Punk
it'd be
return.
like a Lesnar or a Goldberg kind of deal.
Or just not necessarily somebody like that physically big. I just mean it would be a pay-per-view setting. It would be billed as a big match, and he wouldn't be having his first match back in 5 years on Raw at 8:30 on a Monday. It would be built up bigger than I would hope, at least. You never know with WWE.
Full-time comeback.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that you were probably never going to see that, right? It's a full-time comeback from Punk. No. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what the other major thing. Oh, did you watch any NXT last week, Will?
No.
Like, did you see any of it?
I didn't know.
I didn't, and then I'm not going to talk on this long because it's not really something that needs to be talked about long. But Finn Balor, man, holy shit. Did he cut a good promo in NXT last week? He came out in the black leather jacket with the spotlight, and he's kind of, and I don't watch a lot of NXT. I think I caught it on like the Friday or the Saturday or something, and he's you know, what happened to this place? What happened to you guys? He's like, I built this place. I left and a bunch of boys came in chirping, and then he dropped a few names, and he dropped Matt Riddle's name, and he keeps chirping him a little bit, and then he keeps cutting his promo, and then all of a sudden Matt Riddle comes out of the crowd and attacks him, and he kind of runs away scurrying. It's just a good, like, this is wrestling. This is a good wrestling promo. Get the bad guy who, you know what I mean? Like, if you can get people to boo Finn Balor, you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
And obviously Matt Riddle's the babyface, the big babyface. So that's going to be an amazing match between whenever that happens, whether it's on NXT television or TakeOver. I have no idea if that's, do you know if maybe that's happening on the weekend? Know. I'm not sure. I can look up TakeOver too. But I don't know. I just thought that was worth bringing up because, like I said, I don't think it's. I'll put it to you this way: it was better than any. Not that he was a heel on WWE television, but it's better than any promo I've ever seen Finn Balor cut.
Yeah.
In WWE.
Do you feel that just being a bad guy means you're going to give a better promo in general? Just because you could say more along the lines of what you want instead of what people want to hear?
I don't think it's a guarantee that you're going to have a better promo. I think it's a guarantee that it's going to be a little bit easier. Because it's obviously, and everybody knows this, it's easier to get booed than it is to get cheered.
Yes.
So somebody who maybe isn't quite as good on the mic can always, well, not always, but most of the time they will do better cutting a heel promo as long as they can still cut promos. Mm-hmm. But then again, like, look at, and this is, like, Cena cuts really good babyface promos. The Rock, like, there's guys out there that.
But The Rock also cut really good heel promos.
That he did. I'm trying to think. Even Kevin Owens, when he has been a babyface, he's cut pretty good babyface promos. The Miz has come around in the last little while in his babyface promos. Maybe not so much today, more like 3 months ago. But yeah, no, it's definitely easier to cut heel promos, I think, in wrestling in general. I'm trying to pull up that TakeOver quickly for me. Because we can maybe run through a couple of the matches.
I know they had War Games. I think there's a women's War Games. And I'm assuming there's also a men's War Games.
There is. I know it's Undisputed Era versus, oh my goodness, Keith Lee, Matt Riddle, Tommaso Ciampa, and Dominic Dijakovic. Dijakovic? Yeah, I didn't know how to say his name.
It used to be just Dijak.
It was Donovan Dijak at one point, because I know me and Donovan were talking about that at one point. I don't know if it was in like off indies.
PWG.
Exactly. Was he in PWG?
Yeah.
Shit, everybody was in PWG.
Only Lorcan was in the PWG at one point. He's not there anymore.
Is he still in NXT?
No, he got his release.
He did. Because I knew the other guy got his release, Danny Burch or whatever, right? Oh, that sucks. I liked Oney Lorcan. This guy would just come out and just put up number 1. Just like that. That was like his thing.
His Twitter would be just him yelling all the time.
It was funny. But let's quickly run through it. There's not a whole bunch of them. So there's the women's War Games match. I don't know if we should try and explain the War Games match to Phil on air, but
no.
There's 2 rings beside each other.
All right, that's too much already now.
And then a cage around that. And then 4v4 inside the 2 rings inside the cage. But literally 2 rings side by side, like 2 sets of ropes.
But with like ropes in between?
Yep.
So, okay.
And a platform kind of.
So
you
get from one
Oh,
to
you can do whatever you want. Like,
fuck.
you can use both rings. So
That's not bad then.
Yeah, shout out to WCW. They were the one who kind of conceptualized it.
And the NXT actually kind of made it good.
Well, that's fair. Yeah, fair point. I don't know how good the WCW. I've never watched the
No.
WCW War Game, but they might have been, man. WCW wasn't all bad. You're saying that not knowing you haven't watched a War Games match from the 90s, so don't.
I haven't.
No.
But I don't think I've ever heard anything great about them either.
And neither have I. I'm just saying I don't think me and you should go out on a limb and throw these guys under the bus without at least having seen some of it. I'm just going to say I agree with you in the sense that NXT...
Sounds like a look back coming.
And
Yeah,
maybe.
I was gonna say, you haven't done one in a while.
Hey, shh. Don't... shh.
What do we call it again?
The round table, Pro Wrestling Round Table Look Back. But no, you're right. They definitely popularized the name amongst wrestling fans.
Mhm.
NXT, that is, with the War Games match. But yeah, so Rhea Ripley, Candice LeRae, Tegan Nox, and Mia Yim versus Shayna Baszler, Io Shirai, Bianca Belair, and Kaylee Ray. I don't know Kaylee Ray. That's the only one I'm going to have to click that. Give me a second. Nope, no picture. Great. Anyway, I don't know who she is. So what do you think? I don't watch much NXT.
Should be a good match.
That's pretty much it, yeah.
Should be a real good match.
It seems
it's
like...
weird that Bianca Belair is on the heel team when she was just fighting Shayna Baszler not that long ago for the NXT Championship.
I mean, you're not wrong, but at the same time, I feel like that was longer than maybe you remember.
Maybe. It's quite possible.
But yeah, because she was even part of the NXT coming over and beating up people on SmackDown and shit. So the men's match, like I said, Undisputed Era, Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong versus Tommaso Ciampa, Keith Lee, Dominic Dijakovic. Oh, and it says TBA. Does that mean Keith Lee got injured?
Maybe they took him out of the match.
Oh, no, Keith Lee's there. My bad. Sorry.
It's...
Oh, Riddle's not in it anymore because Riddle is fighting Finn Balor. So
yeah,
Riddle originally...
So it's an anonymous. We don't know who it's going to be or...
Is Gargano injured?
I think that's the storyline, yeah.
Because if he's not, it's Gargano.
I don't know if he's legit injured or not, but I don't remember.
I don't know. I didn't realize that. Because, yeah, what I had said earlier is happening. Matt Riddle versus Finn Balor.
Gargano would probably be a good choice, but I don't know
if
who
he's
else.
Cleared to wrestle.
Unless there's some other... Kushida, maybe?
No, he's hurt.
Is he hurt?
Yeah, something.
Oh,
I remember
yeah.
reading something or seeing something about him getting hurt because he had a few matches and then he got hurt.
Yeah.
And then the main event, Pete Dunne versus Killian Dane versus Damian Priest, triple threat. Oh, this is what you were talking about. So the winner of this triple threat match fights Adam Cole
on Sunday
okay. At Survivor Series.
Okay.
Do you want to quickly? I mean, there's only 4 matches. Do you want to quickly give me a prediction? I mean, you can too if you want, Phil. But
I mean, so I guess it's team versus team for the War Games, right? So
yeah.
So I guess I'm gonna give that one to the heels.
For the women?
Yeah.
Okay.
The men.
I'll do it with you. I'm gonna go with you as well.
Right,
Heels for the women.
Heels. You're not gonna chime in, Phil? Or not?
I don't know.
No. That's a shot in the dark for me. So.
All right. So for the men, I guess we'll give it to Undisputed Era. Make the champion look strong going into Sunday.
I think the babyfaces might take that one just based on the fact that there's a mystery partner. But anyway. Okay,
and then the
Riddle Finn Balor.
Riddle Finn Balor. That one's gonna be a tough one.
It's gonna be a good one.
It's gonna be a good one. Yeah. I'm gonna say Finn Balor. He's newly heel. He gets his first big match.
I agree completely with that.
And then for the triple threat, it was
Pete Dunne, Killian Dane, Damian Priest.
Ooh, Pete Dunne's had a lot of chances, but he's probably the most likely to win. I feel. Damian Priest is new, but he's not over enough yet.
That's why I don't think that they need to put Damian Priest in that position yet either. I don't personally.
I just know because he's been attacking Dunne a lot. So that's storyline wise, he's in the match.
And so maybe Killian.
It might be Killian.
I wouldn't mind seeing that. The matchup between Adam Cole and Killian being, what is he, 400 pounds, and Adam Cole's like 165.
Killian's a really damn good wrestler.
Oh, hell yeah. I was thinking about him. I don't know if you'd remember this, but when Sanity debuted, they had a different fourth member.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't remember the guy's name, but I remember them kicking him out of Sanity and Killian Dane debuting and beating the shit out of this guy, and then them literally kicking him out, and then we never saw that guy again.
It was Sami Callihan.
Was he? It was a bigger dude, too.
Was he a bigger dude?
He was not as big as Killian Dane, but he was a bigger...
I think it used to be Sami Callihan.
Like bigger than Eric Young or something.
I'm pretty sure it used to be Sami Callihan, and they kicked him out because he went back to the Indies soon after. So I think it used to be Sami Callihan.
I'd have to see a picture, but I mean, it does sound familiar. I'm basing it off, I know the guy was at least bigger than Eric Young, which I don't know Sami Callihan that well. So anyway, yeah, it should be a good pay-per-view, and that's a cool kind of treat at the end of it that, like, hey, the winner gets to fight the next night at Survivor Series.
We doing a watch party here for that or no?
For NXT?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, come by. I'll be here.
All right.
I'll be here. So
wait,
come
when's
by.
the start time? 7? 8?
I know that the Survivor Series will be at 7. I don't know if NXT has switched their shows to 7 too.
Because I remember I got that endurance race going on, so trying to find the right time.
Oh, yeah, jeez, you got the 3. I didn't let you shed out the arc. We'll do it later in the F1 update. But yeah, so that's it for that. Maybe, or not maybe. Come by. We'll set that up and we'll watch that together. I'm trying to find the Survivor Series card, but I think I should just talk a little bit about how uninterested I am.
Go for it.
In this fucking pay-per-view, man.
Just preach it.
Well, there's only so much to say. It just comes down to the same shit I talked about last week, and it's just contrived. It's so fake. This is all only happening because of Survivor Series. In 2 weeks from now, NXT Pride versus SmackDown Pride versus Raw Pride means nothing. And then on top of all of that, at the end of the night, when we get to the end of the pay-per-view, and it's whatever, 6 to 2 to 3 for NXT or whatever, I don't know how many matches there is. What is it? Like, I want it to mean something. They showed Survivor Series on the network last weekend on TV, and I was watching it, and then it was after one of the matches, and they're like, oh, Raw's up 4 to 2. And I'm like, so what? Like, what does that mean? It's at the end of the night, Raw wins, and then maybe next week we talk about it on Raw, and then that's it. It's done, and then we go back into storylines. I can't wait for this to be over because I just I think I like smaller, little individual storylines. Like, my favorite thing in WWE storyline right now, maybe Daniel Bryan Fiend, we'll get into a little bit, but is the Ricochet Randy Orton. Just because it's interesting and it's intriguing and I don't know what's going to happen next, and it's one of the only things that, I guess, aside from the fact that they're both on the Survivor Series team, has nothing to do with Survivor Series because it's just about these two guys and their interactions between each other rather than Raw caring about Raw so much that they're going to go beat up SmackDown. Meanwhile, like I said a gazillion times, a month ago, they were all the wild card and they didn't care what show they're on.
Yeah.
And shout out to Donovan because I know he's really enjoying all this and he keeps talking to me about, I'm so surprised you're not into this and the NXT stuff is so cool. And I would have just been way more excited if we had an NXT, like, maybe not debut, but like attack on just a regular episode of Raw. Like, Undisputed shows up and just beats up AJ, not because of Survivor Series, just because they're a dominant group and they want to come up to the other show and be like, yo, fuck you guys. So, I don't know. I don't really know what else to say. I'm not excited. I'm going to watch the pay-per-view. Obviously, it's fucking Survivor Series, one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year. But I just, aside from like the triple threat with Roddy Strong, Shinsuke, and AJ, the women's match I'm by far the most excited for because that match looks like it kind of matters and has some connotation to mean something.
What is that, Baszler versus Becky?
Baszler versus Becky versus
Ripley.
Bayley.
Oh, Bayley.
It's a triple threat. Yeah, Rhea Ripley's. They didn't include the NXT UK stuff.
Okay.
Or WWE UK. I talked about that actually with Donovan last week.
At this point.
I think they're called WWE. That's why I don't think that championship is called the NXT UK championship.
It used to be. I don't know if it
was
is
still.
It used to be, yeah, NXT UK. That's what it used to be called.
Okay, then you're right. Then
I don't know if they
wrong.
changed it because I know they changed the cruiserweight from the WWE cruiserweight to NXT cruiserweight.
To the NXT cruiserweight. I just, for some reason, I thought when Tyler Bate won that title in the tournament there 2 years ago, I swear it was just called the WWE United Kingdom Championship. But maybe that's before they had NXT UK.
Yeah.
So then once that show came,
yeah,
they changed the name. Okay, so if any listeners remember that, scratch what I said last week about the belt and the fact that it's called the WWE title or the WWE UK title. But yeah, I don't know. Give me a second. I don't know.
You pull the card up. Let's do some pick'ems, I guess.
I don't know what I did to my phone. Can somebody else pull it up for me?
Guys, come on. This man runs a dealership, drives cars every day, and he can't figure out a phone.
Well, I put it in private mode, and I don't know what that means.
Airplane mode? You in airplane mode?
No cookies.
No cookies.
And now I just typed...
You typed in no cookie. Oh.
No. I typed in Survivor mode, but it's Survivor Series 2019. Jeez, talk about some...
All right, here. I think I got it here from CBS Sports. Let me just see.
I was going to say, I got it now, but you're good. If you have it, shoot away.
All right.
I just mainly want
to... just whatever order from the WWE Championship, Brock Lesnar versus Rey Mysterio. No holds barred, no DQ.
No holds barred, no DQ.
That's what it says here.
Really? Interesting.
Brock and Rey?
Brock and Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar, Rey Mysterio. CM Punk said it best himself. It's going to be a good match. Rey is amazing, and motivated Brock Lesnar is amazing as well. So it has the potential, in my opinion, to be match of or one of the matches.
It depends if we're going to get another 1 minute stomp from Lesnar. Though.
Exactly. It totally depends on if we get Cain Velasquez coming out and helping Rey.
Or Dominic.
Or both. That would be great.
Yeah.
Imagine we walk out. Who would think that Rey Mysterio is winning the WWE Championship?
No one.
No
one.
So it would be wicked if he did. And I don't know if he has won that championship.
He won it once, and that was after CM Punk left because they had the tournament to crown a new winner because John Cena got fired. Rey won the tournament, and then Cena got rehired and immediately won the belt 5 minutes later.
Oh, wow. That's horrible.
Yeah.
So that was the spinner belt, right?
Yeah.
Okay, wow, because I didn't know that. Anyway, moving on. It should be a good one. Because we'll preview this, and then we're going pretty long. We'll get into the F1 update. I don't think I need.
It's a round table. We quote you. We go however long we like.
This is true.
Right. The Fiend, Bray Wyatt versus Daniel Bryan, Universal Championship.
Well, this is something I know Phil can actually speak on a little bit. What do you think about the blue belt, Phil? And you too. I haven't talked to you about it either, but
honestly, it's almost like I saw it coming. It's like what you were saying and how you guys talked about it last week or last time.
Yeah,
you could see it coming. There was going to be a change to it, but what was going to be changed? Just color.
I wished something more. Something.
I wanted to be more Fiend kind of. You know
exactly,
what I mean? Like,
right?
It would have been crazy to see like half of it. The firefights. Like, can't even speak right now. The playhouse.
Sorry, that's a fucking amazing idea.
And then the other side have it just like
crazy
schizo
Fiend
and everything. Yeah.
Dude, I can't believe I didn't think of that, because that's a really good fucking idea. That's what they should have done with the belt, man. It should have been half Firefly Funhouse with maybe a picture of the Mercy the Buzzard on there.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know. But
then, at the same time, I don't know if they should do too many custom championships. Because
I agree.
They had Bryan's not that long ago.
And they did. I think, I don't know if that was the three of us talking about that or me and Donovan last week. And they did, you're right. But certain people deserve them, and the Fiend is one of those people, I think, at least. Because I agree with you completely. That you don't want to get into the habit of, you won the belt? What kind of belt do you want there, kid? Like, we're going to make it custom for you. No. But the Fiend is one of those characters that you can... It just so happens that he's won it so close to the time that... Well, not so close. Daniel Bryan was champion like a year ago at this point. But either way, I know what you mean.
Because then he could always throw it over either shoulder, facing like the one portion down.
Yeah,
it's a good idea.
That is a really good idea, man. I love
WWE Creative. You got a new guy here. Wait,
Honda Tech Phil.
Honda Tech Phil, chiming in.
But yeah, it should be okay. I'm not expecting much out of this, to be honest. We're gonna get the red light. We're gonna get the Fiend winning. I'm
gonna say Fiend.
It should be okay, but again, the Fiends. I don't think you're getting a Dave Meltzer 5-star classic from the Fiend. Not to take anything away from Bray Wyatt. Excuse me, I just don't think that's what you're gonna get out of these two guys, in my honest opinion. But yeah. Move on. I know there's going to be a shit ton. It's a long pay-per-view.
Women's champions. Becky Lynch versus Bayley versus Shayna Baszler.
Well, I'm only picking one person on this one, and that's my girl. Becky. She's got to get the
Bayley for Nick, okay.
No, I said it 5-10 minutes ago. This is the match I'm the most excited for the night of Survivor Series, for sure. Without a doubt. I'm looking forward.
It should be a fantastic match.
Yeah.
Like so far, those are just of the three matches we've said so far. Like it seems like it should be a good show.
Have you seen any of the promo stuff leading up to it?
No.
Like Shayna Baszler had a sit-down interview. I don't want to say Michael Cole. I don't know who it was, but she did one of those backstage sit-downs, and then Becky my bad. It was reversed. It was Becky getting the sit-down interview with Michael Cole, and Shayna Baszler showed up mid-interview, said, move, and sat down, and then it was literally just Shayna Baszler and Becky staring face to face, kind of cutting a promo on each other. And it was really cool. And then Bayley's cut some good stuff lately with her little short hair and her Sasha Banks stuff. It's going to be good. I'm excited.
All right. Then with AJ.
Prediction from you or no? Have we been, I don't know.
You know what? I'll give it to Baszler.
Okay. That could be good. Don thinks NXT might sweep the card here. So.
I mean, if they want to try and compete with AEW, they're going to need more eyes on the show.
Fair enough. That's true.
All right. Mid-card, AJ versus Shinsuke versus Roderick Strong.
Again, this is like my second most anticipated match.
This is a toss-up for me.
This one's a really hard one to pick a winner because it literally could be anybody. Like 33, 33, 33. I got no fucking idea. 0.33. I don't know. I Shinsuke, shout out to the Pop Vinyl. He's my guy. That's who I'm cheering for. But any one of these guys could win this match, especially AJ being a heel now and having the boys there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It should be good. But I hope Shinsuke.
If I have to list the name, I'll say Roderick.
Okay.
All right. Men's tag, Viking Raiders versus New Day versus Undisputed Era.
Undisputed Era. I'm going to go with. I'm not that excited for this. I'm still pissed off about the fact that they took the belts away from the Revival and put them on the New Day just to have a match at Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Because how much better would this match be if it was the Viking Raiders, Undisputed Era, and Revival?
I think it's this Friday they're doing Revival versus...
They are. Or it's on NXT probably this week, no?
Oh, yeah, maybe. I think so.
Yeah. Which, fuck you guys. Put it on in Canada. I'm going to keep saying that until they figure that shit out.
I'm going to say the New Day in this scenario.
Oh, God, I hope not.
As much as I love the Undisputed Era, I'm just going to say New Day because I feel like that's a WWE thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Just like putting the belts on them 2 weeks before.
All right. Men's Survivor Series, Team Raw, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, and Ricochet versus Team SmackDown, Roman Reigns, King Corbin, Ali, Shorty G, and Braun Strowman versus Team NXT, who isn't all announced yet.
Sorry, I was trying to look for a yawning sound on my board. I don't have one. I'm just, again, man, I could give two fucks about this match because it means nothing, and it's just 15 dudes fighting at one. Like, come on. It's just, for me, this is not, I don't even like 6-man tag matches, let alone whatever this is, 5v5v5. It's
That's a lot of people around one ring.
That's what I said to Donovan last week. You can be sitting front row and all you're going to see is ass. That's it. It's just going to be a bunch of dudes' asses right in front of your fucking face until the match starts to go through and the guys start to get eliminated, and then you can see.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot.
Well, you're going to love this one then. Women's Survivor Series elimination match. Team Raw, Charlotte Flair.
Hey, this one's a little nicer to watch. I'll give you
better ass.
Charlotte Flair, Natalya, the Kabuki Warriors, and Sarah Logan versus Team SmackDown, Sasha Banks, Carmella, Dana Brooke, Lacey Evans, and Nikki Cross versus Team NXT, who is yet to be announced.
It's not even announced yet. I bet you it'll be a collection of, or whoever wins the War Game match will be.
I could see Io Shirai in that match probably.
I could see it being a babyface crew though.
Really?
But I don't know. Again, I feel like all the women, that's just, we had to get everybody on the card too. Like that's almost everybody. Mm-hmm. What women didn't you name that are in WWE that aren't in the triple threat match already? So
yeah. All right, NXT Championship, Adam Cole versus...
Sorry, one sec. I'm going to have to go with Raw on that one just because I'm a Raw guy.
All right. So NXT Championship, Adam Cole versus To Be Determined.
We said we think maybe Killian Dane. Adam Cole. I don't think he's going to drop the belt, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But, it would be a good time to drop the belt. You do a title change on a major pay-per-view like Survivor Series for the NXT Championship, which has never been defended on a major pay-per-view like that. So that's something that I hope becomes more regular, to be honest. I wouldn't mind seeing it. Maybe not. I don't know what your opinion would be. Like a WrestleMania NXT Championship match?
Now that I'm thinking about it, they used to have takeovers be 5 matches, right?
Yep.
Now they moved it to 4. But if that means the NXT Championship match is getting time on the main pay-per-view, so they're using the actual takeover to develop the storylines throughout NXT,
it's better.
I'm okay with it. Because we're still getting the 5 matches, but except now they're all getting the proper amount of time.
No, that's true. And 4 matches, 4 matches will be quick, and quick cards like that sometimes are better. You know what I mean? When you're not like WWE.
It just depends as long as they don't give them 15 minutes to do this match.
Let's hope not. But that's the whole card?
There's the Cruiserweight, which is Lio Rush versus Angel Garza.
Who the fuck is Angel Garza?
I don't know.
Sorry,
I don't know what he used to be called, but he's actually not bad. He's a Cruiserweight. So
is he from the Indies? Like you knew him as a different name?
he had a different name. I don't know if I've known him or remember him. He used to be a masked wrestler and they took it off. I don't remember.
Oh, surprised that they did that. Fucking, they do that too much. But I don't know who he fought this week. He fought somebody on NXT. It was a pretty good match. Leo Rush, that is. But so shout out to that. And then the only other major thing I wanted to, because we're going long enough at this point for the wrestling, I have this fucking match that happened this week on Monday Night Raw between Buddy Murphy and Akira Tozawa. If you haven't seen this, find a way, go and watch wrestling, skim ahead, and just watch this one match, bro. Amazing. Incredible. I told Donovan, like, this is I'm giving you a little bit of an early spoiler here, but, like, you're going to hear me talking about that again when we do our end of the year show. It was a fucking incredible match, especially to be happening in the middle of a Raw like that, and to have Buddy Murphy, because I don't want to talk too much about Raw. The only thing I really liked was Randy Orton Ricochet. But to have Buddy Murphy walk by Aleister Black's door before his match, bang on the door, "Hey, Aleister Black, I'm here to pick a fight." Because, you know, well, you don't know, but Aleister Black, this guy always is in his little locker room with the camera on him saying he wants to fight. Somebody come knock on my door and pick a fight with me. So he did that, and then Buddy Murphy goes out to the ring, has his match, comes back after the match, and then he goes to knock on the door, or he knocks on the door, and then he's about to say something, and then Aleister Black walks out, and they kind of have an interaction, and then it's just, this, again, it's pro wrestling. This is, you have a guy that talks to a guy here that leads you to a match next week, but he also has a match this week. Do you know what I mean? He comes back after, like, it's all just a story, and it's good. I really, really enjoyed it. I had to talk about it at least once because they had it. I wasn't expecting to be watching Monday Night Raw so intently with Buddy Murphy and Tozawa. Not, again, to take away anything from them, but it was just a really good match. Kevin Owens and Drew McIntyre had a really good match too, but I got to be honest, I wasn't paying as much attention to that one as much as I was the other one. Anything else from the show? Any hype or anything from you guys that you want to talk about before we move on?
No, I think that's about it. Raw and SmackDown. It's Raw and SmackDown. It's going to be whatever it is.
It's Survivor Series.
Yeah.
The only other thing I got to say is I'm just a Raw guy, man. I as much as I said I don't care, like I don't, but Raw is my show. Like I'll always, even if I ever get to the point where I'm maybe not watching as much wrestling as I had been at another time in my life, I feel like I'm always going to be checking in on Raw.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Do you think that's because a while ago Raw used to be the main show and SmackDown was kind of like the side show? So is that, you feel like that might be why you care about more Raw
Partly,
now?
That's what got me into it, but now I think the biggest thing is it's been around forever. Raw is the only show that's been on every single Monday since 1993, which is crazy. The longest running episodic television show in history. They won't forget to tell you that. And number two, the 3 hours I don't mind. And then this one's selfish, I guess. I love having buddies over for it. And it's kind of been the show that, whether it was Mike D in 2015 or Donovan coming over in 2016 through to 17 and, you know, and onwards, or like other guys who have been on the show, Chris and Newell and Matt, guys who come and watch Raw every week, and it becomes just part of the routine, similar to doing the podcast, where it's not only are we watching the show, but it's social time that I see these 2-3 guys every week during Raw, and that's the only really time I see them. So I look forward to that too. I think it's the whole sit down appointment viewing that I still enjoy for that.
It's a scheduled thing that you look forward to at the end of your Monday.
Exactly. No, completely.
Kind of like our podcast here. Like it's, you know,
it's become routine. I think is a part of it as well. But
oh yeah, Phil can talk.
he had
hey, hi, hello.
Howdy ho. I got lots of notes here. What a fucking race this weekend. Welcome to the Formula One update for the Roundtable episode 63. Brazil. What a freaking what a race. I feel like I've talked so much I want to let Phil get some of his thoughts on this race.
I don't even know where to start.
Just give me your kind of overall picture of this race, and then we'll maybe go into
Honda won too. That's all I need to say.
Oh, that's why you guys are excited. It was almost all the podium.
Oh yeah. Yeah, almost. No, overall it was a great race though, right? You know, we had action right from the lights out. Away we go all the way until the last turn with Hamilton and Gasly pushing, right? It's
drag race, Honda drag race, buddy.
You see the VTEC kick in and we pulled away. So simple as that, you know. But like even on the first lap, you know, Hamilton making the great pass on Vettel and just Verstappen staying ahead. It was just great overall.
Yeah, and it was
not to mention Sainz. You know, he had a phenomenal race. I just so much to go through, and
yeah, we'll get into quite a bit of it. But I was curious of that, and then Will, same with you, man. I haven't even talked to you about this race at all. It's kind of cool that we're talking about it for the first time on air. But what did you think?
I'll admit I didn't see everything from the start. I came in halfway through. I think it was towards like 10 laps left is when I started watching.
Okay. Oh, what? You started watching?
Okay.
You must have been like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, yeah, because I have my chat with my guys in ARC, and they all watch the F1 races too, right? So we have this chat called IRL Racing where we talk about real racing or post videos or post like whatever. So they're all in there talking about the race with each other, and they're all reacting to everything that goes on. Like, oh, Kubica just in the pits.
Almost took out the Verstappen. And
gotta help the engine supplier.
Oh
like they're all going crazy. I'm like, what the hell's happening in this race right now? Can someone give me a link?
Bottas just pulled off, and now they're bringing out a safety car for no reason, and it just made them. Yeah, no, I totally know. That's crazy that you watched it on lap 10 because that's when the race really started to get.
No, like 10 laps to go.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry,
Okay.
with 10 or 15, that's when the race really got crazy because as much as
I came in like right when the Ferraris collided. Like I came in and they were showing the replay.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so I had watched the whole thing. Shout out to Simulation 1. I was working for them over there up in Markham. Amazing. If anybody is local, Toronto area, I mean, anywhere really, but if you're looking for sim racing stuff or you want to go somewhere and try out some really high-end simulators, check out Simulation 1 in Markham. I was there. I was working. It's an amazing place.
A question for you.
Yeah, of course.
Because now I'm curious about Simulation 1. Do they just sell, like how you can go to like a Canada Computers or a Best Buy and buy like a Logitech G29 off the shelf? Do they have like Fanatec stuff in there or no? Or is that too low for them?
They actually sell stuff there?
Oh my God, yeah.
Oh, fuck.
I'll put it to you this way, like the cheapest, worst steering wheels they have are the Fanatec ones.
Okay.
So that kind of puts it into perspective as far as their spec.
All right.
Like I don't even know if you can get Thrustmaster stuff through them. They're high end, high end sim racing stuff.
They're like the Gucci of.
In a sense,
racing.
it's just a niche product. It's a niche market.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
a lot of people are as into it.
Motion sims and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You talk about some of the, like he's got, I can't remember the name of one of the wheels, but he's got one of these wheels, man, that looks identical to the Mercedes wheel pretty much.
It's got the LCD screen. And
Exactly. And it's like $6,000 for the wheel.
Yeah.
So
actual carbon fiber.
exactly. It's a niche thing. He has everything from cockpits. He'll help you build them. It's just a really good place. Check him out, simulation1.com. But the reason I brought it up, I was there. I was working for him. And we watched the race. We had it on like a projection screen fucking bigger than the studio, like massive, probably 20 feet by 15 feet or something like that. The only negative was no sound.
Okay.
So I watched the entire race, no sound. But holy crap, man. I don't know where to start.
So you didn't hear Gasly at the end?
No, not till, well, I came
Loudest.
I came home post Simulation 1 and I watched everything. I watched the hour.
Okay, so
I
you
watched the
watched
hour
it
and a
twice.
half
All right.
pre-show. I watched the whole race, and I watched the 2-hour post-show that same day. Just because I needed the sound, and I love this shit that much that I'll watch it twice to get the sound. And realistically, I wanted to take a couple notes to maybe practice for the future of this F1 update in the next season. But more of that later. Yeah, I had to watch it again. I wanted to watch it again, and it was well worth hearing Gasly and hearing all the. I wanted to hear Crofty when the two Ferraris collided. I wanted to hear Crofty.
Funny you mentioned Crofty because all the guys in that chat, they don't like Crofty.
Really?
They don't like Crofty.
What is it? Because I feel that's like more of a opinion than I thought it was.
I think people just feel like he's samey. It's like it doesn't. It's nothing new. It's just kind of the same stuff, repeating the emotions every time you hear him.
It's just, the lights out stuff. Or
Monotone.
just the
Yeah,
beginning?
the starts. Not necessarily the monotone because he gets energy in his voice.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just kind of like the Ferraris collide, and then you'll go to Spa or whatever, and it's like the Ferraris collide. Like, it doesn't change it up or anything, you know.
I see what you mean. It's, I know what you mean. I don't have an example for something like different to say, but I know what you mean. Like the prancing horses have
Like how many
come
times
together on the straight.
Think of how many times have you heard wheel to wheel from Crofty.
I miss you could fit a cigarette paper between the wheels.
Yeah.
That's my favorite F1 quote line of all time. It's Lewis and Alonso coming through Indianapolis turn 1, and they're literally a cigarette paper between the two of them. So it's, I don't know, one of the better calls.
I like, what was it? Was it Murray Walker when he used to call BTCC. There was a clip, you could find it on YouTube. There was one of the guys, he got bumped wide in BTCC, and Murray Walker's calling it, and the camera, he flips the bird, and then Murray Walker's like, and I'm going for first, says Cleland.
You know, it was pretty good too. Was James Hunt as good as that guy was at driving? He was a pretty good commentator too.
Paul DeResta wasn't that bad too. There was another race in BTCC. I don't know if it was Paul, but there was.
Are you talking touring cars?
Touring car, yeah.
Ah, okay.
So there was another one. I forget the track, but the turn one was so bad, and it was just like 6 or 10 cars out in turn one, and then he's in the commentary. He's like, "Whoever designed this first corner needs to be taken into a dark room and beaten."
The rest just said that.
Someone like it was. He had the Irish accent on the commentary.
Okay. The rest is good too, because I mean, he can drive pretty goddamn well too. Like the race 2 years ago when I watched him commentate all year, or not commentate, but analyst. And then he hopped in the car in Hungary and filled in for Massa and drove the race. I was like, this is insane.
Yeah.
But he still races in DTM, so it's not that far of a stretch for him, I guess. But yeah, should we get into it? Do you guys want to start with the beginning, to start with the top and kind of work our way down like we normally do?
Yeah. Makes sense.
So P1, Max Verstappen, very good drive. I don't know what else to say other than he had the pace, he had the car this weekend.
He had the whole weekend, bro.
Yeah, I don't think anybody was taking this from Max.
The engine wasn't what we've seen in the past from Honda. It was actually a pretty powerful engine up that hill.
It was. And that hill is significant. Maybe one of the biggest, other than maybe Spa, I don't know, climbs on the F1 calendar. And then I didn't think about it until listening to 3 Legs, 4 Wheels this week, and just the elevation. I didn't Brazil is kind of high up like Mexico. I wouldn't have thought of that too. I don't know if it's second or third or, in the sense of highest tracks on the calendar, but that matters too with the engine. We know how much it affects everybody in Mexico.
Yeah. Even in Mexico, Max is one of the fastest cars there with the engine.
Yeah. So they've been doing, I guess Honda's really stepped it up in the last,
I guess their engine
6
just
months or whatever it was.
High altitude, less dense air, I guess.
And they've done well. I don't know where I heard it. Well, I think it was in one of the F1 post shows I said to you, Phil, about how Honda apparently is running like 7 or 8 engines on a 24/7 dyno at the factory in Japan. I think the F1 engines.
They're stress testing it. Yeah,
just to see what it can really take. So it's good for them. Good. We might as well here. This has been an occurrence with you guys lately, right? A big clap for Max Verstappen and Red Bull. We'll stick, I guess, Albon, DNF. You want to go there next, or where do you want to go?
He DNF'd?
Yeah, Lewis. Or no, he didn't DNF. He finished 14th.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
It felt like a DNF.
Yeah.
For where he was. That's sorry. I'm wrong. It wasn't a DNF. But it was essentially a 0 points finish after potentially getting your first
podium.
Yeah.
So it sucks.
It was a heartbreak.
It was. Maybe we'll come back more to it when we talk about Hamilton.
Okay.
But we got to you mentioned it a little bit. I wish I almost should get a clip, but Gasly. P2, first podium for Pierre Gasly getting up on there.
Second time this year Toro Rosso's been on the podium.
How crazy is it that you've had Kvyat and Gasly both get on the podium and no Albon?
Kvyat got third, right?
Third
in Germany.
Germany, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Germany in the crazy wet race. The only wet race, I think, too, of the season, actually.
Yeah.
Which is
not
global
actually the
warming.
last time Bottas retired.
Really?
Yeah, it was in Germany.
Oh, yeah, because that's when he hit the wall.
Yeah,
hard. On turn 1, I remember that. You're right. And Lewis lost at the same spot and didn't hit the wall. I remember that, too. Shout out to Lewis.
Speaking of Lewis, I should just jump in here because it just crossed my mind.
Yeah.
I mentioned earlier when we were talking about esports and stuff, the Gran Turismo World Finals in Monaco.
Yes.
They have like this thing where they called Pro-Am, where it's like they take one of the pro drivers and race them with, I don't know, a content creator or whatever on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Lewis Hamilton did it in the Pro-Am.
No way.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it's because he's sponsored by Gran Turismo.
Yeah, he is.
He's probably required.
Yeah, but this is the first time he's done it. I don't know who his partner is or if he's the pro or the am, but he's going to be there driving it.
That's sick. And he's in the game, too. When you play Gran Turismo, there's those videos are in there. I remember that was one of the biggest reasons.
The fun facts.
I wanted, to get that game before it had come out. But, yeah, Gasly, amazing drive. Like, I think he qualify down in, like, 10th or something like that. He was middle of the pack or so. So it's not quite a Carlos Sainz drive, but still, to be there and to significantly be more or less best of the rest at one point from where he was awesome. And Kvyat was way back, so I don't think you could really compare their races with each other.
Kvyat 16th and Gasly was 6th from what I see here.
For qualifying?
Yeah.
Okay, so Gasly was up in 6th for qualifying. That's really good. Wow, good for him. So I don't know what it is about him in that car, man. It's just this guy can drive the Toro Rosso better than it's more comfortable.
I mean, Kvyat had the same thing. When he dropped from Red Bull to Toro Rosso, he was an absolute rocket ship, and I don't mean in the torpedo sense, but he was. Do you think it's just the fact that they feel threatened as a driver that they lose their top spot, that they push that much harder, or is it one of those things that where you go from a fast car to a slower car, you realize where you can actually go faster throughout the track?
Well, I don't know.
I agree with both. It has to be a mix of both because yes, you have that stress on you, thinking that you have to keep up pace, you have to keep certain points or whatever to keep your seat. But then when you drop back into the other car, not necessarily being slower, but you might have that little bit more of a confidence knowing that, oh, okay, I've been here already before. I know what I can and can't do with this car. That's the way I kind of see it. But
I don't like another way to describe it. Another way for some people that might not know from driving or whatnot. In karting, we have different levels of karts. Yep. So there's the 2-stroke karts, which are normally faster than our 4-stroke karts.
They're the fastest, right? The 2 strokes.
Yes.
Unless you're talking super karts.
Yeah. So like you can, if you race 4-stroke most of the time and then make the jump to 2-stroke, drive that for a bit and then go back to 4-stroke, you're usually going to be a little bit faster because you have the experience of driving a faster vehicle around the track, so you kind of know what your grip level's like in comparison. So that's
keep the momentum too.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I get it.
Question, because I wasn't watching. I don't think at the time. It was the year before I started really getting into F1. When Kvyat was called up to Red Bull, was that early? Like, was that start of the season? He started the season with Red Bull?
Yeah.
Okay.
He started, it was Ricciardo and Kvyat.
Question, was Kvyat there because Vettel left?
Yes.
That's the only reason.
As far as
if Vettel was still there, he wouldn't have been called up. Probably
not, no.
Same exact scenario as Gasly. Gasly was only ever in Red Bull because Ricciardo left. So maybe I'm thinking, like, why are these, like, what happened to these two guys that they both kind of just couldn't handle the pressure? I don't think it's the pressure of being at the top team. I think it's the pressure of being at the top team without realizing that you were going to be there until the last second and not having, maybe too soon. I don't know how old Kvyat was at the time, but I definitely think Gasly just didn't, putting him in that team this season at the beginning of the year was the wrong idea. And that, I don't think it's Gasly's skill. I've been a fan of Gasly since he was in Super Formula, but I don't know. I was trying to find a correlation between Kvyat getting called up and Gasly getting called up and why the two of them both maybe couldn't handle the pressure of being at the big team.
It's quite possible.
It's the Max pressure.
Well, that too. Well, Max wasn't there for Kvyat. It was Ricciardo at the time, and then Kvyat got booted, and Max is the one that got called up.
And wins his first race.
I just mean now with
when
now
Gasly
for was
sure.
in the seat, right? So.
And you never know. Maybe the car.
There's such a big gap though between them, between Verstappen and Gasly. It's like they weren't even on the same team
at the beginning. But that's what I mean. I just don't think Gasly was. I think he got put in this car too early.
He wasn't prepared. Yeah, I guess you're not.
Yeah. I think he needed 2 full seasons at least in Toro Rosso, and then 2020, he would be. Then you could bring him up.
I mean, at least when Kvyat was in the car, he was at least kind of competitive. They had to boot him because of all the accidents.
And the penalties and stuff like that, not necessarily because of poor results, or pace. But I guess P3, we could kind of mix it up. Lewis Hamilton / Carlos Sainz. The real one is Carlos Sainz. Shout out to him. I got to give him another one of these. Man. Jesus.
Boy.
Drive of the weekend. Drive of the race. And one more time, shout out to Lee from 3 Legs 4 Wheels, because this guy may have the drive of the season. It took hearing it to kind of like go back and look at some of the results and be like, holy shit, yeah. He may have, Lewis won the championship and he's the driver of the season. But Carlos is like, I'm trying to think of like races that he's had bad results that were his fault. There hasn't been very many. And Lando's been doing well all season, and he's been beating Lando all season. And again, this is part of it is McLaren going from being shit to clinching 4th place without the last race. Like, they've clinched now 4th place, and we haven't even finished the season. So
for the constructors?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think after his 3rd place, moving up to 3rd, with what happened to Lewis in this race and taking out Albon in the second last lap of the race, a little racing incident, penalty, I don't know.
It was the last lap, wasn't it?
Was it last or second last?
Yeah, because then that's when Gasly passed Hamilton, and Hamilton was right on him until the finish line.
Okay, yeah, so it wasn't last lap.
No, second last lap, because Lewis slowed down a bit to make sure there was no damage to the car.
That's what I was going to say.
So he could use the DRS.
Yeah, lap 70, you're right. Bad move on Albon.
Yeah, just because I don't think Lewis was like when Gasly passed the two of them. I don't think Lewis had enough momentum to get right back.
When you watched it onboard, he got into neutral, and I think he got stuck in there.
Oh,
he was just like,
Lewis?
Oh
shit!
And then you see it click, and he's like, oh, there it is.
I didn't see that. Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah,
crazy to think if you look back at the crash, all Albon had to do was get on the brakes, like half a second earlier, and it would have taken Lewis's front wing off.
Yeah, but
when you look back at it like that, yeah,
it's a tricky one. I mean, I guess for anybody listening who didn't see it, Lewis tried to pass Albon on the inside of turn 15, something like that. I don't even know if there is 15 turns.
There is 15 turns, exactly 15 turns.
Oh wow, okay. So if there's 15 turns,
I want to
then
say
it was
5 or 6.
No, it was near the end of the lap.
Near the end,
it was like
Albon said there was 3 more
I thought
turns.
it was the turn, and then they do this.
Yeah, this is an audio. Keep in mind we're audio right now, so don't.
Okay, I'm trying to remember because it was the right turn because
right.
the last few corners are left turns, and I know it was the right turn.
It was the right, and then
the last right turn on the track.
Let's say turn 12.
No, he's right. It's the last right hand turn. So yeah, probably turn 12. So not quite 6 or you know what I mean.
13,
but
14, 15. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the last right hand turn for sure. So either way, Lewis kind of got a little. I don't know. What are your guys' opinions on this?
Albon left the door open
completely.
He completely left the door open. Lewis went right inside. However, he didn't carry the speed because he was on the inside, and it's a super tight, acute corner, right?
Yep.
So he had to slow down a lot more, and that didn't make sure he was side by side, and they just touched tires, and Albon went around, Lewis went through.
Yeah. As soon as I saw it, I thought there should have been a penalty. Now that I've looked at it more and more over the last 4 days, I'm starting to. I still think there should have been a penalty, but I don't think it was as blatant. Like it was definitely Albon, like you said, left that door completely wide open and told Lewis, "Hey, come on in." He needed to be a little more defensive.
To be honest,
he was on the racing line.
Yeah, I don't think they would have penalized Lewis if he didn't admit fault
at the end of the race.
Yeah,
that's a lot of people have been saying that, and what I've been hearing.
He straight up said, "That's my bad. I'm sorry, Albon. I took you out." Right
as soon as he got out of the car.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he's like he admitted fault. It's the same with Max.
Yeah.
In Mexico, if Max didn't admit that he didn't lift off during the yellow flag, they probably would have let him have pull. Mm-hmm. But he admitted fault, so like they kind of had to penalize him.
What if
that just made my job easier? Thanks.
What if that was Stroll and Kvyat, and Kvyat did it to Stroll? Do you think we would have got the result before the end of the race?
That's a different question. That I don't know.
Yes, I do see that.
Do you think because it was Lewis, they had to triple check and quadruple check their decision on making sure that this is actually a penalty before we go ahead and give them a penalty?
I think it's also the fact that it was a podium position, right? There was going to be.
That's true.
Someone
if it was for 10th place, it probably would have been way earlier.
Immediate,
right?
Even if it was possibly for 5th or 6th place. You know.
Yeah,
and
I wasn't even
immediate.
I wasn't even really referring to the position. I was more referring to the people sense that are they
and the situation.
And not to say Lewis gets preferential treatment.
I wouldn't say that they were doing it because it's Lewis Hamilton. It's probably more like we don't want to deal with the lawyers at Mercedes.
Fair.
That, or they just don't want to deal with the controversy after the fact, right?
Because they've had that issue, remember, with Vettel, right? And here at Canada this year. They made what people thought was the wrong call, and they had all this backlash. They'd cancel F1 and stuff, right?
Oh yeah,
they didn't want to try and make the wrong call, so they really wanted to make sure they were doing the right thing here.
I heard something earlier in the season. This is just a little side thing, but in Maranello I'm not sure where the Ferrari had. It might be Maranello.
They have the flag there for the win.
Yeah, that's crazy. So they put up a flag every time they win a race. They have that flag up
for Brazil.
No,
Canada.
For Canada.
Oh, for Canada. Oh.
For Canada, when Vettel won but didn't win,
and they moved the sign.
Yeah. Which is I still like I didn't realize till 2 months later when I went back and looked. I have pictures of Vettel fucking walking across and moving that sign back and forth. I was that close. I had no idea because I was just snapping pics, but it was like above me and I couldn't. You know what I mean? And
I can't see.
And I went back and looked at it. I'm like, oh, that's Vettel moving right, and then he's literally you see him walk over. I'm like, that's crazy that I was that close. Anyway.
That's a picture for the wall, bud.
Yeah, well, it's not the greatest picture. You really got to... I'll show you later. It's not like some of these ones that are on the wall that look, more presentable. Shout out to that Kimi one right behind you. I love that picture.
Speaking of Kimi, you had one hell of a race, too.
Yeah, let's not jump there yet, though. Let's work our way down.
Sorry for trying to do these good segues.
No, I hear you. I appreciate it, but I just don't want to move from P3 down to P5. I want to make sure we get P4.
All right.
He was P4. What?
Oh yeah.
Wow, Nick, come on now.
So let's backtrack on that one.
Yeah, no, Phil is right. Well, the reason I said that is because the Lewis was kind of 3, but then he got moved down.
Came
to
across
6.
the line in 4th.
But yeah, no, you're right. Kimi was in P4, and it was Giovinazzi in P5. That's why I just wrote Alfa Romeo 4-5.
Yeah.
So I didn't really remember which one was in which place. So yeah, good fucking drive from them. Would they be there without what happened to their compadres?
I mean, obviously not. Anyone could say Bottas, and with both Ferraris there, we probably wouldn't have gotten Pierre and Sainz on the podium. Obviously,
No. And I was thinking more just like, the two Saubers, the Ferrari Junior team, getting the good result because of the Ferrari.
Alfa Romeo, they're not Saubers anymore.
Oh, jeez, I did it. At least it's not Force India.
Literally staring at you. Like.
At least it's not Force India and Racing Point.
Yeah.
I guess that's even older, and they did change the color of the car, so it is worse. But anyway. Yeah, good result.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, like there's been races where they've been at the back of the grid almost racing with Williams. And then this race comes around, they're easily in the top 10, top 5. They just had the pace of this track, and I don't know what it is. It's not the Ferrari engine, because we know they don't have the same pace that Ferrari has on the straight lines.
No, and that's kind of gone ever since that little rumors.
Well, it was back for this race.
And not enough to get them on pole. Not like it wasn't like it was. Like, you're not wrong, because it was back more than it was in USA. No, where were they last? USA?
No,
yeah. USA was the last time you guys were here. So yeah, it wasn't that much lower, but it wasn't as good as it was in the races post summer break.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Continue. I just.
But
Alfa Romeo.
I'm not sure where that pace came from on the track, because it's not like a Herman Tilke track where it's super statistical and the same thing over and over again.
No, this Brazil track
it's unique. It's difficult. It's got elevation change. It's late apexes here, and like it's not easy to drive. And whether that suits Alpha's aero package or not, I don't know.
Yeah. But they I think what it was for them, at least this weekend, is that they were there. They had the right strategy. They didn't make any mistakes. They didn't get any stupid accidents with Haas or anybody like that. And they were just, at the end of the race, they were there. They stayed there. You know what I mean? They held their position. So sometimes you just got to finish first. You got to finish. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes when you stick around, that gets you a good result just sticking around, not necessarily having the best race. So maybe that was it. I don't know if their car was significantly better than some of the other ones, but I know Renault and them forced it. Jeez, I did it. Racing Point didn't have the best of weekends either. Obviously Williams too, but yeah. Why don't we? Because we kind of jumped all over, but I want to just talk about them quick. The fucking Ferrari debacle. Like I said, the compadres.
I'll admit, I saw your Twitter. Where you were like, at first I thought it was 100% Vettel's fault.
No, it wasn't that I thought at first. I was saying that I was disagreeing with the guy on 3 legs, 4 wheels, Chris, and he was saying that he thinks 100% that was Vettel's fault. I said, well, on this one I'm going to have to go with Lee and say maybe, 80. I sent him another separate tweet.
80-20.
80-20, and he sends me one back, 95-5. And I was like, okay. So that's all I was trying to get across, was just the fact that you can't put 100% of this blame on Vettel. I'm cool with 95.
But are you sure that you can't though?
Oh, I can for sure. I would bet my life on it.
And okay, let me ask you then. What in your eyes did Leclerc do wrong in this situation?
He didn't give him enough room on Leclerc's right side, I don't think. And he just that was
Leclerc. I mean, what did Leclerc do wrong?
That's what I mean. He didn't give him enough room. He's going to come past you. He's about to fly by you. So if you know that and you're moving over to the left anyway,
did you see the pitch?
I've seen it a gazillion times.
Okay, not the pass. Someone took a screenshot of the straightaway from the back where the corner where they collided, and did freeze frames of where each car was. So it's Vettel on the outside going towards the corner, right?
Yeah.
So Leclerc is here, Vettel's here. Each frame, Vettel's like this. Leclerc didn't move except for when Vettel got closer.
No, but I'm talking in the first place. Like, he didn't give him enough room. I'm not talking after Vettel's beside him. I'm talking when Vettel first popped over, he had Leclerc should have just fucking moved over. It's like, he's your teammate and he's gonna pass you right now. That's where I say the 5% or the whatever. You can make it 0.5%. I don't care. All I'm saying is that Vettel is not taking 100% of this blame.
But I'm saying he should.
That's fair.
Because Leclerc
go back and read my tweet. It says my opinion. So
I'm saying your
just to
your
clarify.
opinion is wrong.
That's fair. Whatever.
Well, I'm going to split the difference and literally say it's a 50-50.
Really?
Now that's a controversial
Yeah,
take.
that's more of a.
End of story. They both knew what they were doing. Leclerc knew where Vettel was going. Vettel knew where Leclerc is. How do you make contact straight?
Yeah, he's not wrong in the sense that you're not driving a NASCAR. You know who Sebastian Vettel is. Move over.
But he just
But
passed
did
his
he
teammate.
But you're not holding the spot anyway. Like, you're not going into that next turn. You're getting past. So it's either you collide or you let him go by and then you take him back because you've got fresher tires anyway.
The reason why I say 50-50 is because A, Leclerc didn't give him enough room. B, Vettel started going into him. But he was also riding on the line, practically on the grass.
That's what I mean. It's not like Vettel had like half of a foot of space between Vettel and the grass. Like, he was right on. He had just enough room to get by.
That's not Leclerc's fault.
No,
he left just enough room for a car to go there. There's no breaking the rules there.
Perfect. That's defensive maneuvering. We get that part, but the fact is that's your teammate.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
You guys want to race
it's not
each
a
other,
defensive.
then race each other and make it safe. Make it so you guys actually have an enjoyable race.
You're driving.
You clearly just passed him on the turn before, and now we're going down the straight and going into the Senna S, and it's just a...
I'll put it to you this way. Whoever's fault it is, if Leclerc moves over another 2 inches, both Ferraris finish the fucking race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Unless
that's where I'm
if
saying...
Vettel keeps the wheels straight, they both finish the fucking race.
I'm just saying, I can't say 100%. You can't have two teammates hitting each other and say that it's 100%. Like, you might as well say that Leclerc's a robot at that point because he's not making any decisions. He's just driving. Do you know what I'm saying?
Just processing.
It's not like I'm with you, bro. It was fucking Vettel's fault. I'm not, no offense, Phil. I'm not
no,
with
I
Phil.
get it.
But Phil brings up good points. It's just, that's all I was saying in that tweet. And it was kind of good. I had a bunch of people liking it, going back and forth. And
you can't put the blame on one driver.
That's
what you're saying.
Especially in a team collision. Even if that
was two different teams,
I would be less likely to say that. But the fact that it's your teammate, I get that you're racing, but it's like it's still your teammate. He's coming past you. You know?
You just passed him. He has the slipstream. What do you think was going to happen? Do we need a replay of Russia?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like Singapore in 17 with the car in the middle and coming over to, it was definitely like, it was Vettel's fault. I don't know. I don't think it was 100%.
There's been a couple other things this year where it has been Vettel's fault.
Not just this year.
Yeah. Do you think at this point he's going to have to go the way of Schumacher and retire? Because this is what happened at the end of Schumacher's career.
Are you talking post-Ferrari or...
Post-Ferrari, not before Mercedes came back. Because he did this too. You had a whole bunch of incidents in the Ferrari that had pace. Like, he crashed on an outlap. Like, before they even got to the grid, just, like, do their warm-up lap.
Is this when, like, 05-06, when Alonso was winning championships?
Yeah. Like, it was the last race of either 05 or 06. I don't remember which one, but he crashed with a backmarker car when they were doing their outlap to get to their grid spots.
At the beginning of the race?
The race didn't even start yet.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, the formation lap.
Before the formation lap. They were driving the cars to their grid spots to warm up. The team comes out to do their thing, and then they do the formation lap, and then they start the race.
Oh, my.
Wow.
So in the literal warm-up.
Yeah.
Like,
so
when they drive the track and then they come through the pits, and then they drive the track again and they come through the pits, and then they drive the track and go park on the grid. That's what you're saying. He did it before he went and parked.
Yeah.
Wow.
Didn't
know about that. I'm going to have to talk to my dad about that.
7-time world champion crashing with a backmarker like that.
Yeah, so I mean, I think I didn't watch it as intently back then, so I really can't speak on it, but I think he was just getting throttled by Alonso, and maybe that was just starting to eat him up.
He was, yeah.
I'm sure Vettel feels a little bit of the same with, Lewis coming in the last 6 years after him winning 4 in a row and having to watch Mercedes now win 6 in a row. I'm sure he doesn't love it. That's not great.
So do you think at this point, do you think when 2021 comes around, is Vettel leaving Ferrari or is he leaving F1?
Well, is he leaving F1 this year or next year? Is that what your question is?
That's a good point. Like,
I think this year, because I thought you were going to say 2020.
Because Leclerc's kept him pretty honest this season.
I heard a stat. Does Leclerc have the most poles this season?
I don't know if he's got the most poles, but I know he's been outpacing Vettel.
Oh, he's outpaced.
And the only time Vettel's ever won is when, let Leclerc pass. Tell him to catch up.
Yeah.
Like,
I like Vettel significantly more than I like Leclerc. So it's not like a who I like more situation. I think he'll be there next year, because that's why I wasn't sure what you were going to ask. I thought you were going to ask 2020. I think he'll be there next year. I think he'll stick around for one more season. He'll probably get.
I just said 2021 because that's when all their contracts are up, right?
Oh, for sure. I guess that's true. Yeah. But I because people keep talking, is he going to leave the sport now? You know what I mean? But all the other seats are gone. So it's not like we're getting him popping up at Red Bull like people were hoping, or popping up at, other places.
If Vettel was to leave, who would take his spot?
Well, he could go to Red Bull for sure. He could go to Red Bull and
I mean, if Vettel was to retire, he retires. Who would take his spot at Ferrari? Would they bring back Raikkonen? Would they bring up Giovinazzi? Like, would they take one of the Haas drivers because they have Ferrari equipment? Like,
for me, I give you two names. Raikkonen is my first choice. Bring him back because for 1 year. I mean for 2020.
Yeah.
If Vettel were to leave it this season, you bring Raikkonen back for 20, and then for 21 you either get Giovinazzi, depending on how good he does at Alfa Romeo in 20, or go get Ricciardo. The guy's fucking Italian, and I'm sure he's got his 20 million from fucking Renault that he can put in his pocket.
Here's my idea.
Why don't we go back
Here's my idea. Mick Schumacher.
I think it might be too soon.
You think?
And I think that's definitely what Ferrari's thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Like if he can get to the level of a significant, like a Charles Leclerc or just under by 2021, sure. Yeah, let's do it. But he didn't have a really good season in Formula 2 this year, and I watched almost the whole season, and he won one race, and he won it from reverse grid. So it wasn't like he fought his way to get the win. He finished in 8th, and then he started on pole the next day. So I'm not trying to say he's a bad driver, or I don't think he'll ever be in Formula 1. With a name like Schumacher, and he's already in Formula 3, he's going to get some kind of shot. Oh, yeah. Do I think that they'll do it in 2021?
I mean, they gave Max that opportunity from Formula 3.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's not that it's... And he's a Schumacher. And it's Ferrari. So it's check. Like, the Ferrari knows that the day that they get another Schumacher in their car, they're going to have people going, what? Schumacher? I watched him. That's his son? Okay, I can mess with this. So it's possible, but...
you don't want a replay of a Gasly situation in Red Bull, though.
Exactly.
That's exactly what...
Yeah.
And maybe because I'm Italian, I don't know. I'd love to see Ricciardo there, man. I would love to see what Ricciardo could do.
So you want Ricciardo and not Giovinazzi?
Even though they're both Italian to me. Ricciardo's fucking parents are both born in Italy. Like, it doesn't get... Like, aside from him not being born there, it's like he's Italian. That's...
Yeah.
Both, it's like
his blood's
it's
Italian.
Like you.
Yeah,
it's a perfect example.
Same as me, pretty much. Just
it's like
Italian, Polish.
No, but it's like you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you are Canadian, but both of your
my whole family, my bloodline is Polish, but me as a person was
Ricciardo
born
at
on
Ferrari
Canadian
would be pretty crazy, though.
It would be cool.
That would be pretty crazy.
And again, I love Giovinazzi. I'm so happy that they re-signed him because it's an Italian driver in Formula 1, which we hadn't had since like years.
Truly?
Yeah, exactly. And there was guys that, like, obviously way back, like in the...
Yeah.
But anyway, the reason I don't think he's ready for that. And he would really have to have a really good season next year at Alfa Romeo to be able to get that Ferrari seat, whereas a guy like Ricciardo, unless he's lost it, I think, he can prove that...
Yeah.
If he wanted that seat, if he wanted that seat, he would have to hit P5 with a full grid.
Who's that?
Giovinazzi.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you got to show that drive, right?
Yeah.
And he would have to thrash whoever his teammate is next season.
But, I mean, in fairness to him, this season, his teammate is Kimi Räikkönen, a former Formula 1 world champion.
World champion, yeah, and super quick, confident guy. But I'm sure he loves the post-race analysis. Unless he's a big data guy, I'm sure he loves the post-race because it's very quick.
Yeah.
I've heard that about Kimi. It's just like as quick as possible to be done with everything.
Can you imagine how Kimi Räikkönen would have been if he was in a competitive car like the Ferrari and actually gave a shit?
Where? Oh, you mean, wow.
If he was in an actual competitive, potentially race-winning car and actually gave a goddamn...
I think he does, man. I just don't think he gives any fucks about anything that takes place outside of that cockpit. Like, I truly... Like, I don't think... If he never had to do an interview again, I don't think he would change his life at all.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's all the stuff that he could do without. He's just like, oh, like, you know, I like driving and I'm here because I'm good at driving, and that's everything else can fuck off. You know what I mean? I want my hot wife and my little blonde kids, and I'll go have a good time in Finland, you know? But yeah, I don't know. Do you guys want to I guess that's kind of it. I don't know what else you guys want to get into. I've got a bunch of stuff. I know Phil's got some more notes and stuff too. Everything else I have written down is just kind of lap by lap stuff. Science we didn't talk about much, I guess.
Just
the passes.
Yeah, the passes were fantastic. A hell of a drive, P20 to P3.
And his Halo saved him.
Yes.
Ooh.
His Halo did save him. Did you catch that replay?
I did not.
There's another one. I think that's 3 or 4 we've had this season now. That could have been pretty bad.
Magnussen's wing when Ricardo hit him.
Yeah, that was
8.
on lap 8. Yes,
Yep.
you got that too. Yeah, that was unfortunate for Haas because, I mean, they were actually having a decent little weekend. I mean, I think, I don't know if you've got the results of the actual race, but I think Magnussen finished in the top 10, if not 11th. Because I remember thinking, you know, that was pretty good after getting in a crash to come back.
I think it was 11th.
Yeah, it was either way. It wasn't near the bottom where Haas has been. And funny little thing, I remember when we were all at Sim 1 and we looked up because, again, no sound. We looked up and we're like, oh, Haas, what happened to Grosjean? We all just kind of assumed it was like we had no idea, but just kind of assumed. But, yeah, Bottas out on lap 52 or 53, one of those two.
That was a long safety car.
Well, the other part was why was it a safety car? I'm sure anybody who's which isn't me, but any of the conspiracy people out there would definitely be thinking, that seemed a little weird.
This is our opportunity.
You know?
Get them all bunched up again.
Well, yeah.
It's literally what they were thinking, probably.
But, it made the race. It made,
it
made those final.
I get why they have the virtual safety car. I understand why they have it, but safety cars just make the race way more fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm so much. It was a way better decision to have the regular safety car than the virtual. And I even remember when looking up on the screen because we were all there again, no sound, and we didn't see VSC.
Yeah,
we're like, oh shit, they're bringing out a real safety car. I heard, again, one more shout out to 3 Legs 4 Wheels. I heard the reason was they couldn't reverse Bottas's car. So he pulled off in a perfect spot right by this. That's why everybody's like, why was there a safety car? But apparently they couldn't. They couldn't
crane that. Yeah.
They had to crane it out. They couldn't just roll it back because they could have easily just pushed it back behind the barrier and then maybe left it until the end of the race.
That safety car lasted from lap 52 to 59.
Really? I want to. I don't know. I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist because it just part of it sounds like a little scripted, you know, like. I'm not saying it was.
That safety car, that's when Verstappen passed Hamilton.
That was one of the passes of the race.
That was the wheel-to-wheel action.
There's a cigarette paper between them. Coming across the Senna S. No, that was a really
And that's
nice
when also Albon passed both Ferraris, too.
To get up into third.
Yeah.
Yes. And
that was on the slipstream. And when you watch
that was one hell of a pass that they didn't really show too much. It was kind of in the background because they're focusing on Max Lewis.
Yep.
But he goes around the outside of turn 1 and just sticks it, kind of goes wide a little bit to cut away the apex that they had.
Or Albon?
Albon.
Oh, okay, sorry.
It was so nice.
Like, so I'm kind of
demonstrating. Just sneaks in right in front of Vettel.
So turn 1, he goes
right
wide, carries the speed. It goes towards turn 2. Instead of keeping it tight, he goes wide a little bit on turn 2 to cut away the exit speed that the Ferraris have to maintain position.
Gotcha. I know exactly. I think I remember now that I visualized it as you were saying it. I remember seeing a replay of that. And then, I mean, don't be mad about not showing passes because I think Carlos Sainz, like we said, made about fucking 20 of them and they only showed 2 of them on TV. But, yeah, what was the other?
I do want to bring up McLaren. Ever since the Honda days at McLaren, the turnaround they've had, just as like it looks like the energy at the actual factory and everything seems way up from what it used to be.
And
it feels like the team has turned around completely from those days with Button and Alonso.
I agree, and as much as I was a McLaren fan for a little while, and I just fuck them. I'm sorry, like that was your fault. You guys were the ones that didn't let Honda mesh with you. You gave them a size of a hole and said, "Build us an engine." On the other side of the planet. And I don't want to talk bad about McLaren because they're doing amazing, and I have talked many positive things about them in the last few weeks. I don't have, maybe I have sympathy, but not as much as you, because I know that, in my opinion, from what I gathered over those years, that was like 70-30 McLaren's problem and not Honda's. That was them being not patient, obviously, as we can see now, and them not wanting to work with, like, you've got guys in the UK working in England, and then a bunch of guys working over in Japan, and you're going to build a car that way? What? Like, that doesn't, you know what I mean? It's not the best way to design one singular unit car. is to build the chassis and the body on one side of the planet and build the fucking engine on the other and then hope that it all just works together. That's my only thing with that. Because, yes, they've turned it around. The energy, Zach Brown, everything is better. I agree. It's just, it was also on them that it wasn't there in the first place. That's all.
Norris had a good battle with Leclerc, though.
He did, but
near the beginning.
But he didn't have a great race.
No, he said he was slow. He felt slow, and I believe it was this engineer that said it's not you, mate. It's your hard tires.
Where did he qualify? If you have it.
Norris?
If you don't, it's not a
10th.
big 10th. So pretty crazy that he's in 10th.
You also got to remember, Sainz had the accident, so he didn't even have a qualifying. He didn't make it out of Q1.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Sainz is down in P20, and Norris is up there in P10, and I'm sure strategy had something to do with it, but still, for him to hop over his teammate that much and get on the podium, it's a significant drive by Carlos Sainz.
Yeah. Even Norris had great defense against Ricardo on lap 2. It was nice to watch.
Yeah,
Just showing that he had that.
Norris is
he has
shaping
the
up to be a proper
control.
good driver.
Very nice.
His very first season in F1, he's already up there, and like obviously that says something about the car that they have this season.
Yep.
Don't lie. You just like him because he's on Twitch.
I've never even watched.
I'm just messing.
I know, but I've never even watched a single of his Twitch streams. It's just him as a person, his personality. I love, like, I could go over and like look up Bottas all day and I wouldn't care. Just because he just sits there straight faced.
You could look up? Is that what you said?
No, I could watch him race and I wouldn't care because it just feels so cookie cutter, so milk toast of a driver. He has no personality, right? When you look at guys like Ricardo or Norris, they have that personality, right?
Definitely.
And that's how you draw people back to the sport. It's not this plain Jane robot driver that people can't relate to, right?
Yeah, I don't think Bottas is as bad as you're painting the picture, but he certainly is not a Ricardo or Norris. I'm not going to say that either. But yeah, Norris is a kid that's going to be in the F1 for a long time, and I think he's got a bright future ahead of him.
I agree with that.
All he needs is like a front of the pack car.
Yeah, but I think they're slowly chipping away.
Yeah,
and
they are. They're getting there. And if they get the Mercedes engine,
which they are.
Yeah, if that Mercedes engine puts them back towards the front of the grid come 2021.
Hopefully, with the regulation changes and everything, it kind of will. And then I think that's. Oh, I wanted to talk about, I don't know how much you guys are familiar with well, you are a little bit. I don't know. Do you watch the races through Sky?
I think so.
Okay. Like, do you see Simon Lazenby and Paul DeResta and all those commentator guys post-race? I don't know how much of the stuff you watch.
Sometimes, yeah.
Anyway, earlier in the season, this is just, I thought this was hilarious, and then when I seen it, when we were watching, again, no sound, I seen it, and I brought it up to all the guys at Sim 1, and I told them about it. So Simon Lazenby is one of the reporters for F1. He said to Christian Horner in Austria before the race, if Max wins this race, I'll wear lederhosen for the rest of the season. Well, Max won the fucking race. So then he had to wear his lederhosen after the race. And then it kind of became a thing where it was like, all right, we're not going to make you wear it every race. Because I think Max might have won another race, like not the next one, but the one after. I'd have to go back and look now. So he's like, all right, every time Max wins, you got to wear this lederhosen. So he has it. And I forgot completely because it's been a little bit since Max won a race.
Yeah.
So Max won the race, and then I'm watching the post show, and I'm like, why is this guy in shorts? I'm like, oh my God, he's wearing the lederhosen. I'm like, this is awesome. So I just love like that little bet that they stuck to for the whole season that him and Christian made, and then he brought Christian on, and it's the post race stuff where they all sit on those little chairs. I don't know. I look
really comfortable.
They actually do. It's funny you say that. And then two other things I just wanted to say about Sky, and then I'll let Phil go because I know you wanted to say something too. I just love the analysis. I know some people on other podcasts maybe aren't as big of fans as some of the pundits and the pre-shows that they do for Sky. All I have to say is anybody who listens to our show is everybody likes something different. I enjoy these, even when it's on a Saturday and then we get Rachel Brooks going around Brazil and trying coffee and food and exploring the culture. Maybe it's not for everyone, but I really enjoy that because I'm not going to Brazil and I have no intentions of going to Brazil. So I get a little bit of their culture and I can learn about their food and maybe some of their markets. And
I have to agree with you on that.
I like that stuff.
When we were here watching for the Japan race, remember when they started the race, they had the guy in the pit lane, I'm forgetting his name.
Ted Kravitz,
yeah. He was going around. He was talking about how the train to get around Japan and stuff, right?
Yeah, the super quick one.
Yeah, and then they're like, maybe go to this store if you want this, or maybe here's some seafood here. Like, that was really cool. Like, it introduced you to the country we're racing in this today.
Well, that was like Singapore, too.
Exactly.
They did that whole 10-minute like pre-show kind of, and you walk through all of the, I guess, entertainment area of where that track is laid out and everything, and it looked amazing.
Yeah, because some people that I hear, I'll shut them out, Lee. Again, I've done it 4 times on this episode anyway, but I always hear him talk about, and I'm only doing it because this is like by far my favorite F1 show to listen to, and I look up to these guys. But he just always talks about, I don't want to fucking see these guys drinking coffee and doing this, and I'm here to watch racing. And I'm like, so am I, but then just don't watch the pre-show, man. Like, just turn it on when the quali or the race starts, because I enjoy that stuff, and I don't want Sky to get rid of it, because I like learning about other countries and going to Vietnam next year, and we'll learn some new shit about Vietnam, and you know what I mean? So I enjoy that stuff. The only thing I want to say negative, and it's more negative Canada rather than Sky, is I miss Ted's Notebook, because Ted's Notebook used to be on TV in Canada on Rogers or Bell or wherever you're watching. It was on, like, the post-race was almost as long as the race. They'd have an hour and a bit of talking, and then they had another, I think it was a half an hour, 40-minute segment of Ted's Notebook. I don't know if you even know what I'm talking about. No. Where Ted would literally start at, I almost said Sauber, start at Alfa Romeo at the back, or Williams, I guess in this case, and he would literally tell you every single team what happened to that team in the race. Oh. And it was his notebook, just like my little notebook I have here, and he would flip through and he'd be like, all right, Williams, DNF on whatever, and Russell, whatever. He would literally tell you what happened in every single person's race, and it was just, I don't know. It was like that was more or less the last thing that you would see.
I like what they do on the F1 YouTube channel when they lead up to a race.
Oh, yeah, the Will Buxton stuff?
Yeah.
That stuff's incredible. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, that was in the... He's talking about the YouTube stuff.
Oh,
you're thinking of Martin.
The pre-show, yeah.
You're thinking of Martin Brundle and
that we should give one of these to, because that was fuck. I talked to my dad on the phone today, and I told him. He's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I recorded it, but I didn't see that." I'm like, "Well, even if you just fast forward and watch that 10-minute segment, go do it, because it's worth watching. Watching Martin drive that car around Brazil.
Yeah, that was amazing. But you know what else I also liked? When they did the whole Braun GP part of it too.
My God.
The second part of that with Button,
We've kind of talked about the race at this point, Will. I said this to Phil this week, and I haven't fucked up the names once, so it's good on me.
You just jinxed yourself.
I know. How is this not a movie yet? How is there no movie that has been made about the Braun team? Is it too soon? Is it because it's only been 10 years?
I think so. I think it's still too recent a memory. Like, we're only now just getting a movie about Le Mans in what was it, 66 with Ford versus Ferrari?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
We got Rush, which happened in the 70s.
Yeah.
Like, I can see that movie happening. It's got to happen.
It's got
to happen.
I'm getting chills just thinking
it's going to be another 20, 30 years before we get it.
Oh, 30 fucking years? Jesus Christ.
It's going to be it has to be historic at that point.
You're right. It does. I hope not 30. I can maybe deal with 20, but 30. I was still hoping maybe we could get Jensen to play Jensen. No.
It'll be Jensen's son.
He did just have a kid recently this year. So, yeah, maybe. You never know. 20 years. Because that's just it's just a crazy season to have the way it all happened. You know what I mean? That, like you said, I'm happy you brought that up, Phil, because that little segment that they did in the pre-show was on point and fucking incredible. Really good.
Yeah.
But
it gave me like chills, and, you know, that like feeling that almost I was able to live it with them.
Yes, and you just reminded me what I was going to ask, because you've been watching Formula One a lot longer than myself and Phil. Were you watching in 2009? Do you kind of remember it?
I hopped in, I think, at the end of 2010.
Ah, okay, which was also a really good season.
I'd like 2012 personally.
Yeah.
What was it, 7 or 8 different winners in the first 7 rounds or something like that?
That was, man, I'm doing it too much.
Alonso was the first repeat winner of that season in the 2012 Ferrari.
Yeah, which was a shit car. But I was going to say I'm doing it too much this week, but it's just because I love their show, and I don't like to say shit that I've heard elsewhere, and you know what I mean? But they were talking about the fact that next season may be one of the, you never know, because usually at the end of these cycles, so an era, exactly, it's more competitive because everybody's had time. It's not like
they've all caught up.
Exactly.
It's not Mercedes coming out with their redesigned turbo and how they do things, right? And they're like a second faster than the rest of the field with their engines.
Exactly. But that being said, we all know Mercedes this season fucked off pretty early with their 2019 car, and they've been making that 2020 car early on. So I think that's why they struggled a little bit in the middle of the season, to be honest. But
did they forget to maintain Bottas's engine? Is that why it popped?
I think it's because he was following Leclerc too long. I honestly think that's what happened there. I
thought they said it was something like it was like burning oil or something, burning too much oil.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I heard it was just overheating, and they thought that the overheating was because, again, he was following Leclerc for 4 laps, close. But again, you got to give shout out to my dad. He said it to me on the phone. Hey, give credit to Leclerc for holding him off.
Yep.
So kind of goes both ways. But did you want to get into anything else, Philly?
No, I could just mention the fastest pit stop of the day.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to
done
make
by
that.
our Honda Techs. Honda Techs Red Bull with a 1.82.
World's fastest pit stop.
And that's actually the same pit stop that Kubica almost took him out on. So I don't know.
Oh wow, so it could have been bad.
Yeah.
It
could have
ended
been really bad.
Wow, it could have been for nothing. But he probably still lost a bit of time.
Wasn't it Williams that used to held it before that though?
Not.
It was in a previous track. Yes,
yeah.
You're right.
And in a previous, at one point, he's
I
right.
I thought it was Williams that held the record.
The
before
overall,
that one.
but Red Bull beat that record this season or last season. But they
beat
did.
it this season,
like when
and then
Massa
they
was
beat
there.
it again
Okay.
just now. This Brazilian one
is the current
fastest one. I believe before that it has to be. I want to say Russia.
But it was Red Bull.
Yeah.
And that record.
And then before that was when it was
Williams.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's basically what I was getting at.
Yeah, but I'm still so surprised on how much of a difference between Verstappen and Albon the pits can be, right? Because Verstappen had two 1.9s, well technically 1.28 or 8.2, and then Albon had a 3-second pit stop.
Only the one? He stopped
Yeah,
twice?
he had a 2.6 and a 3.0.
Yeah, Phil brought this up to me at work this week, and he asked me, you might be able to answer. I told him what I thought. Are they the same mechanics? And I don't think so.
I have no clue.
I said for the pit stop, I think that they're the same, but then for when they're in their garages, that they're in separate garages.
Which makes sense, because then they could have an A team and a B team.
But whenever it
stop,
shows the team, it's like they're all coming together as one garage to watch the race. So I don't know.
If we think back when Mercedes did that back-to-back pit stop, right, when it was Bottas and then Hamilton, or the other way around.
They don't swap teams.
No one swapped. So in my head,
I think it's just the same team.
It's the same. It's all the guys from both cars come to, because I said to you, it's 22 people work on an F1 pit stop.
Yeah.
And I don't think that there's 20. I don't think that there's
44
people in the garage.
I just find that really odd how inconsistent it could be. And I understand the situations, and anything can happen with the guns, with the wheel nuts, and everything.
Or even just somebody else like coming out. Like if you got to wait.
Yeah, that's true.
That would be the total pit stop time, right? That would be over the 22 seconds or whatever they usually.
That wouldn't be the actual time that they're stopped.
Stopped and doing the tire changeover.
It wouldn't.
That's what I'm talking about.
No. And I hear
actually, you know, it would.
You're
yeah,
right.
I think
if someone's being
we're
released,
dumb. We're being dumb right now.
No,
Yeah.
that's what I was just thinking. Because
But
the total time is the time taken to drive in.
Drive in, go to do the stop, and drive
But
out.
if you're in your pit stop and you pop me up for 1 second, change my tires, pop me back down, and then Will's coming up on my right side, and I can't leave the pits because Will's pitting in front of me, I'm still stopped.
Technically, you would still be stopped, so why wasn't Williams stopped?
I don't know.
What do you mean? I just mean
there was an unsafe release.
Yeah,
that's all it was.
Exactly, unsafe release.
Yeah.
So then, at that point, it's
That's very true.
the engineer, the technician, or whoever releasing the car has to be checking down the pit lane.
It's
right?
on
It's
them
on
at that
him
point.
at that point. Right?
But again, I don't even know if that's what happened to Albon as
No.
far as that's why he was in there longer. But
Regardless of the fact, I just found that a little interesting to see that there was such a big, not like, I know we're talking about milliseconds here, but milliseconds is a lot in a pit stop.
in Formula One,
So
milliseconds are not, you know.
Pay $1,000 for 1,000th of a second.
Exactly. It is a bigger point. Like milliseconds are fucking serious.
I'm gonna start paying attention to more of those pit stops across all the teams just to see.
When your favorite part of the race is the pit stops, you know you're a mechanic.
Definitely, eh?
I'm sorry, it's something about the guns, man. Just done.
That was a good sound. Jeez. You done that before, Phil?
Maybe once or twice in the shop, or I've just heard it 100 times.
You think every time he takes a nut,
No, my gun makes that sound for me.
That's funny.
I just don't have a laser on my gun to line it up. On
Line
the
it
nuts,
up,
you know.
just tape
And I
a
have
laser
5
pointer.
nuts to take off, not just one single, big one.
They do it like NASCAR does. Just
Let the nuts
just shoot all the nuts
are
off,
just
and then.
flying.
Hey,
where's-
Nick, catch.
Where's the co-op kid? Find the 5 nuts I lost. I can't find them. They might be in the sewer in the middle of the shop.
That's good stuff. But yeah, I guess that's it for the F1 update for this week. Amazing race in Brazil. we'll be back. You guys will be back with me post Abu Dhabi as long as you can still come. I talked to Phil about it.
Yep.
So not next week. The week after we'll talk about. I think that's when Abu Dhabi is.
And it's Formula 1 this week, or Formula E this weekend.
Formula E is back this weekend, yes, and the debut of Mercedes, Stoffel Van Dorn and Nick DeVries. I'm pretty excited for that.
No Ocon?
No, Ocon no.
Ocon, no.
Ocon no. Ocon Renault. But yeah, so that I guess that does it. Like I said, we'll be back. I'll be back next week to preview Abu Dhabi by myself with Donovan, and then we'll be back in 2 weeks. Alrighty, boys. Another one bites the dust. Another roundtable. Episode 63. It's been a good one. I like this crew. This might turn into something else.
I'm going to have to be on the next one for 64 because that's my race number.
Oh, well, we can have you on next week. I don't mind. Sure. We haven't had me, you, and Donovan on in a little while either. Might be it'll be a shorter F1 update. I don't want to go too long. But
if that's the case, I got to wait for 117.
But yeah, if you guys don't already, give us a follow on Instagram and Twitter at PW LookBack. Follow, like, subscribe, share, comment, DM, PM, all that good stuff. Send us questions and topics, ideas to ProWrestlingLookBack@gmail.com. Hit up iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, YouTube, and Google Play. Don't forget to hit up the t-shirt website, teespring.com/ProWrestlingLookBack. I keep forgetting every week to say that at the beginning of the show. So I hope some of you diehard listeners that listen all the way to the end, go check out teespring.com because we'd appreciate it. There's all kinds of t-shirts, mugs, sweaters, all kinds of stuff. Check it out. Subscribe, hit the 5 stars like I always say. Leave us a good comment, preferably good, like I said at the beginning. If not, I want to know how the show is. So if you don't like it, tell me. I want to know. At Salsa is where you can find me. SCELSA.
On Twitter at LateralG.
On Twitter, Honda Tech Phil. And remember, don't open your hood to strangers.
I like that. And it's a good idea. You know what? I seen another one the other day, and it was save an animal, bang your hood before you start your car, and there was a picture of 2 kittens curled up inside of an engine.
Yep.
Never heard of that one before.
That's different.
Don't forget to check out Pure Oxide, the sponsor, at Pure Oxide Premium CBD Oils, pureoxide.com. They ship worldwide. I've been Nick. This is the Roundtable, episode 63.
I'm Will.
And I'm Phil.
Stay classy, motherfuckers.